What's funny about Samsung having their shit figured out is that's literally 4 generations ago.
Yeah.
No shit.
That's the Note 4, and the Note 8 has already been out for like 4 months or 5 months. I mean, you got to skip
Samsung
a couple
had their shit
because the
figured out.
7 came out and started blowing up in people's pockets.
Yeah,
Or no,
that
the
was
6,
one
the
of
Note
those,
6, I
melting
think it
people's
was. So they
arms
didn't
and
come
shit.
out with the Note 7. Oh, is that the poster we're all supposed to be signing?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I should do that too. But anyway,
Well, yeah, you are one of us.
yeah, I totally forgot.
One
About that.
of us.
You got your corner down
One
there.
of us.
There you go. I'm gonna do it right across his forehead.
Nice. Instead of ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Cool. So, as you guys know, we have tournaments going pretty much nonstop in our Facebook group. The one right now is video games throughout history.
One of them, or at least.
What's funny about
knowledgeable.
But, like we said, there's something in it for everybody. But that means Who's Last Tournament, Movie Madness, has come and gone.
Madness.
And we would like to announce the top 10 movies of all time as voted on by the Aimless Adventure Podcast Facebook group. At number 10, we've got Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Excellent.
I cannot see how that made it.
Oh, man, it's such a,
Yeah.
it's such a fun
When's
movie.
the last time you watched that?
Such a fun
I
movie.
watched it like a few weeks ago. It's so good.
So not.
Number 9.
Like, I mean, you got Napoleon Bonaparte at Sunsplash, bro.
Well,
Mayor.
And seeing the old Metro Center ice rink and shit.
Yeah.
I remember
That's-
that when I was a
that-
kid. I mean, come on,
The
like.
cool part was
George
that
Carlin,
it
man.
was a throwback to our teenage years.
well, the high quality acting.
Right.
Yeah,
well,
I mean, totally
there was
sure.
that. Yeah.
How that wasn't 100 Oscars.
Because, I mean, there was, Keanu Reeves and
that
the
other
other
guy.
guy.
Blonde
Blonde
guy.
Yeah.
George Carlin.
Yeah.
Some sick air
I
guitar.
forgot George Carlin was in
Yeah,
it.
he was the Rufus.
Wild
or something.
Stallions.
Yeah.
He was-
Some sick ass
Stallions.
air guitar. I mean,
He
come
was
on.
better in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, though.
Yeah.
That
The
was
rules
good.
of the
Follow
road.
the book.
Rules
Follow
of the road.
Follow the book.
Alrighty.
Princess Leia.
Mm-hmm. Little cameo there. Number 9, Shawshank Redemption.
There we go. That definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Number 8, The Lost Boys. I
No.
don't understand that one
Yeah.
either, but this isn't all about us. Number 7, Beetlejuice.
That's a good movie.
That's a good movie
That's
too.
a good movie.
That's as
Classic.
good a quality acting as Bill and Ted's was,
Yeah, I
too.
think that's better
It's on-
quality
it's on
acting.
par.
I mean, that
It's
was-
on par,
it's
Daddy.
great.
I'm not gonna say where that par is, but it's on that same plane there.
Playing of existence.
Right.
Number 6, The Predator.
Nice. Is there a movie you like?
This number 5.
I've never been a-
Shawshank definitely.
I've never been a big fan of Predator either, but I mean, it's definitely a movie that comes on. I can stomach through it if it's on TV and I don't have to like pay close attention. But I'm not a fan.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I guess I guess what I'm not considering is the cross section of it's our followers that is this voted on. So I mean,
Which is a huge demographic.
Yeah, people between the ages of like 6 and 300, give or
Right.
take. Sorry, Murph.
Predominantly men now. We're up to like 57% of the group.
I'm honestly surprised that it's not higher
Not even
Yeah,
more
percentage of
skewed.
men.
Yeah.
I'm surprised there's any women willing to put up with our shit. On
Touche.
there and in real life.
Yeah.
Right?
Number 5, Brian has had something themed of this movie. Tombstone.
it should have been.
Oh, I thought it was going to be Days of Thunder.
That's just his racing style. Number 4, Happy Gilmore.
See,
See,
like,
now that's one of the ones that
I
he's
could
not
watch.
that high up.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I would put that.
It's one of Sandler's better movies, you know, like probably one of his best movies.
That-
actually.
Yeah,
that and the water-
it was
But-
a great Sandler movie.
Yeah, but I don't see that as
when
a
you're
number
talking
4,
Sandler
yeah.
movies, as far as being like greatest of all time.
I'm pretty sure the greatest of all time top 10 lists were the only ones that have that movie
Happy
on
Gilmore,
there.
Yeah,
probably.
But that and Waterboy I could watch every single time it comes on the TV.
That and Waterboy, yes.
Yeah.
And honestly, now that you mentioned Waterboy, I might have to give the tip the hat to Waterboy.
Yeah.
I like
That's
Waterboy
Sandler
better
movie.
for
Definitely.
sure.
Like, I literally fell out of my chair laughing in the movie theater. Like, I was sore from laughing at the Waterboy movie.
Number 3, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
See, no,
That one's probably on just about every top
about
10
every
list
top
ever.
10, yeah.
I mean, when you consider the whole, series, yeah. I mean, Indiana Jones was a great fucking series of movies.
The Crystal Skull kind of blew a little bit, but
Yeah.
I was
we'll
never a
have
fan
to see.
of
We'll have
Indy.
to see how they do with the next one because they're in production on it.
Yeah.
So
Who's gonna be in it? Is it still Harrison Ford?
Mhm.
He better fucking.
yeah, it's still Harrison
They
Ford.
better not fucking ruin it.
it's not. Is it going to be what's his name as the young one again?
No, I
the
don't think he's
Crystal
coming
Skull.
back. I think
Because I
he's
have a
out of
feeling that's what they're going to do. Is because the Crystal Skull kind of gave you the impression that like he was handing his trait down.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this one will be like it's going to be kind of like a lot of movies have done. They'll pretend that one didn't exist and go kind of the
just
same
kidding.
lines.
And kinda
So
go
this one will
forward.
be the same
Yeah,
thing. It'll be
I
We always
Harrison.
sell tickets.
I always felt
Halloween
that
3.
Crystal Skull was
It'll
the
be-
same exact way. They were trying to like hand it off so then they
Right.
could make 3 or 4 Indiana Jones movies with the new Indiana Jones.
Right, and I
His
think
name
that's
was
what this is
Indiana
going to
Jones
be.
as well.
That's what this is going to be. I
Yeah.
think.
Because he was another junior, so I mean, you know.
I have
they
nothing to
could've-
base
I thought
that
they
on,
would do
but that's just my
I
thought.
don't even remember who the younger one was.
Or it was I don't remember either. I'll look while he's keeping going.
that. Wasn't it Transformers dude? Shia LaBeouf?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, he's
Moving on. Number 2. Back to the Future.
See, now that's a great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the best ever.
That's a classic.
The trilogy.
Number 2.
I mean, it.
That's like one of those ones that still holds up too when you watch
It's a
it.
pillar
You're not like,
of
man, that's
cinematic.
dated. You're like, that's
fucking-
badass.
Plus, I love time travel movies.
Well, yeah, and it's right up there.
What's
Yeah.
What's
It's
good about
probably
that one,
the
and
best
the reason
time
it
travel
holds
movie.
up is because it's a great movie and it's all practical. So you don't see anything where you're like, oh my god, those effects are horrible.
Yeah.
And they're like first Back to the Future, like that's badass.
Right.
I thought it was really cool how they filmed the second one and third one together, but
At the same
released them
time?
2 years
Yeah.
apart.
Yeah.
And that was smart too because it kept everyone. You
You don't have to wait.
people- exactly.
Somebody accidentally ages or dies or something, and then you have to figure out how to fix it. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or
you end up with a
the
Princess
way
Leia
they
situation.
replaced the guy who played the dad
Yeah.
between the first 2.
And
Yeah,
you
you
had
have
to
to
sue
deal
him
with
because
that
he
shit.
used his likeness.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Like, they stole my face.
Literally.
It was like Face Off way before Nick Cage.
They which did you like better, 2 or 3? I mean, I think 1's always the best, but 2 or 3 because
I
I
don't
didn't
know.
like
Two
2 as
because
much.
Son-
One is
Chick's
the best. Because she had them gigantic fake
Give me
boobs.
these.
Yeah.
I like 3 better.
I like 3 too. I like the whole Western.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally just watched 3 on HBO like last night. It was on.
I watched it in the last week or
Yeah,
so.
and it was on, and I was like, that's staying on.
I think
Yeah.
I liked
Watch that.
2 more just because of the butterfly effect
Yeah.
that they
The
really
thing-
applied.
They
in
did
that
a lot
one.
of them too. The part I liked about 2 though was seeing what they imagined the future was gonna, what
Yeah.
2015 was gonna be like
Oh,
in,
man.
and then we've already lived
Spot on
past
there,
that.
guys.
And
Yeah,
we're
we've already
barely
lived on
better.
past that day.
And we're barely better than the day it came out.
Yeah.
We have pretty cool phones. That's
Yeah.
about it. And Tesla.
Yeah, but seeing what they imagined the future what we would have in that, and we've already passed that point. So that's cool about 2, but I really like 3. I like
Where
the
we're
whole
going,
Western
we don't need
aspect.
roads. Yeah, you still do.
Yeah, you do.
Number 1. Drum roll, please. Star Wars Episode 4.
That was
New
a
Hope.
given.
Yeah,
That
especially
was a
with our
given.
group.
And that, again, that's almost the top of any top 10 movie of all time list you watch because groundbreaking, set in the future of movies.
Great story.
First blockbuster movie ever. People going back multiple times to see it in the theaters. Like, it just has that whole nostalgia and like mythic factor.
The
to it.
special effects, that was definitely the king of all kings for special effects
Yep.
for
Oh,
a
yeah.
decade or so.
Mhm.
And it's amazing to go back now. Like, a lot of times you'll see, like, the special effects movies and you go back and you're like, God, that looks corny as fuck. But you look
Did
at
they
that one
even
and it's still
have-
It
kind
still holds up.
Yeah.
Did they even have like space movies before Star Wars?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
had
Buck
they had
Rogers and-
space movies.
A lot of
but-
them were literally like you see a flying saucer go by on strings and shit
Yeah,
like that. Like
yeah.
you could literally see strings.
Like-
I mean, it was bad.
That's one of the things that's made them stand apart from the others is you had a model of the USS Enterprise or whatever the case may be on strings moving towards a goal going across the camera. Lucas said, no, that's a stupid way to do it. We're going to have the ship be static, move the camera around the prop to make it look like it's moving. And that was such a way better way of
Yep.
doing it.
Their attention to detail really showed, because it's like you said, same thing with the other movie you just mentioned. Like you can go back and watch it and still not be like, oh, that's corny. Like
Yeah.
you can nitpick it if you really want to.
There are
But-
movies from the 90s you go back and watch and you're like, why the hell did we think
But
that
you
was
can
cool?
watch this
Yeah.
movie
That
from
was
fucking 30 years ago
revolutionary.
and be like, man, that's still a good fucking movie.
Well, like even like even, for instance, Back to the Future, the hoverboard
Oh, Annie.
was pretty badass for
Right.
that time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean it really looked like he was, on a
Right.
flying skateboard when you watch that movie. Even now, when you watch it, it still looks like he's on a flying
Like you
skateboard.
can't hardly pick that one apart. Like
Right.
Yeah.
One measure that I use to show how epic that movie really was is even before nerdy T-shirts became
the thing.
you'd have kids, teenagers, adults, old people, all sporting Star Wars
Star
shirts.
Wars shirts. Yeah.
I mean, the fandom spans so many generations that is just amazing, really.
Good
Speaking-
list.
Thank you.
Speaking of
There's a little bit of fuck Brian algorithm in there, but
Maybe you
Speaking
should
of
vote
the
more often.
future and what we're talking about, like I said, like phones and Tesla. Did y'all know that Tesla owns Solarcity?
really,
Yeah,
No.
Did
and
not
it's
know that.
so this is pretty cool shit. I
makes me
think
even happier now that I have Solar City on my roof.
so. Tesla bought Solarcity,
Good for
and
them.
they designed these batteries that. Well, they didn't design the battery. It's the fucking Tesla car battery put into packs that can run off of Solarcity's solar panels to like be a backup generator for your house.
Yeah, exactly,
And the
yeah.
way I learned this is I saw a news article when the whole Puerto Rico thing happened. They trucked up a shitload of them and sent them to Puerto Rico.
Really?
So they sent about 1 billion Solarcity panels and a bunch of batteries.
I think we're froze.
Uh-oh. Are we?
I don't know.
So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
I want one for my house, but
Looks
they're
like
like
you're still moving.
fucking $20,000 or something.
The batteries?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
Crazy as
get
fuck.
a decent backup generator for like a quarter of the price.
I can buy one at Harbor Freight for like $700.
No, I mean the ones that are like designed for
Oh,
it. The
right,
ones
right.
that literally like it
That will
it
actually run
senses
your
as
house.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
senses as soon as your power turns off and it fires right back up, so
Yeah.
you don't even notice your power's out and shit like that. You can buy those for fucking like $5,000 or something.
They have them at all the dairies because it's so critical to keep that milk cool that if they get a power outage and the cooler shut off, like they would lose $50,000
Right, yeah.
of milk like right
Instantly.
now. So every dairy out there has big. I'm talking like the size of this fucking room.
Hey, Carol, I
big
think you
fucking
might
backup generators.
need to go check the living room. I hear yelling.
What? Time for a break?
It seems okay.
All right.
Real quick, I'd also like to give a little shout out to Scott and Jeremy from Cineforge. They're they're filming right now a movie that I think is going to be right in our wheelhouse. It's about this kid who gets a cursed video game and has to fight the demons that are unleashed from it and everything. But yeah, it's Max Reload and the Nether Blasters, and really looking forward to hooking up with those guys, getting an interview, and maybe some behind the scenes footage stuff that we can.
It's not gonna be
Legally
like
used and
that
stuff.
high school one that we.
Dish party.
No, probably not.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Ditch party, yeah.
Speaking of video games, did you guys see that the World Health Organization has officially classified video game addiction
Yeah.
as being a real a thing?
Yeah.
Like
It's
I'm not
officially
even a gamer,
classified.
and I'm almost like offended by that. It's like,
Yeah.
really? Like,
I'm not an addict, man. Wait,
Yeah.
there's a Pokemon nearby. Hold on a second. I got this. But I get it. There's
It
there's
ruins
some,
lives, that's for sure.
It does. I mean, there's some games that right now I'm addicted to a game, and I play it all my free time.
you can literally be.
I think about it when I'm not
addicted to
playing it.
anything.
Yeah.
The video game is not the
Dream
disease. The
about
video
it.
game is the drug that the addiction is the disease.
Yep. But they officially classified video game addiction as being a real disorder.
Because would you say, like, cocaine addiction and heroin addiction are separate diseases?
No.
I wouldn't.
No, it's both artificial substance that you're ingesting in your body to make you feel.
You know what
good.
I mean? There is a difference between those because that's the actual drug making you addicted to it. As
Right.
the people who have addictive personalities, like
Yeah,
those
that's
who are
true.
addicted to sex, or those who are addicted to video games, or those who are addicted to boobs, and
But sex is
it
technically a
happens.
chemical addiction.
Well, there's
Yeah, it
nothing wrong
could
with
be,
being
yeah.
addicted.
But I mean the same thing with
There's nothing wrong
Video
video
games,
games.
anything
I mean,
that causes
Yeah.
those who are
euphoric
addicted to
feeling
them, it's giving you releasing those
The endorphins
endorphins in
and-
your brain that are affecting your body.
The only difference is like as opposed to regular drugs, when you quit it, you can still like use your brain and the
Yeah.
endorphins keep pumping,
Yeah.
and you didn't ruin yourself forever.
Right.
Tattoos could be in the same category.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, they definitely
yeah.
are.
Oh, yeah, I know people that are.
I think
addicted
it
to
qualifies,
getting tattoos.
or it gets labeled with the harmless addictions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you're not really hurting yourself or anybody else when you're doing it. Like, you're just doing it a lot.
Right.
Just like you said, with tattoos or fucking, anything.
Pornhub subscriptions.
Well, I guess.
Who would pay for that? That's ridiculous.
I have no idea.
It's just free.
Brian all smiling like, not me.
I get my shit free.
It's like all my shit is free.
I'm too much of a fucking tightwad to fucking pay for
You're not gonna pay for your porn.
it. So,
He's like, screw it. I'll take all the viruses, the computer ones, not the real ones, and get all the porn I can.
it's a trade-off. Man. It's a trade-off.
It definitely is. Sean sent us a couple of Christmas presents.
Did you guys even look at
It even
that
has
one yet?
Christmas lights. Oh shit! Christmas lights on it.
Love that thing.
Yeah,
Isn't that
it's a
cool?
really good one.
It'll be up here eventually.
It's just, man. It's like we're talking about with the tattoo. It's like that attention to detail.
Right.
It's
The
little
reflections
things,
on the floor and
little
everything.
things. Yeah. The reflections on the floor. Like, it's badass.
And we have a smaller version of it sitting right there. It's the. Is it the exact same or is it
It's,
just
No,
it's
close?
that's
Stormtrooper.
so cool.
Oh, that's right. It was
instead
a
of
different one.
Oh yeah, this has the stormtroopers.
I forgot. So that one, keep an eye on the Facebook page because that one will be a giveaway at some point here in the near future.
That's like one of my favorite scenes from Force Awakens when he's throwing the fit and those stormtroopers come around the corner and then they're like, "No, we're good.
let's go somewhere
Go
else.
back the other way. We don't need to deal with this."
They just
That
casually.
is one of the best.
That was one good thing about that movie is how they threw in like the attention to the background detail, if you will, I guess. How they had stupid little stuff going on in the back that didn't really pertain to the story, but just added a lot
Right.
to it.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, one of the things happened since we last recorded that Star Wars Last Jedi came out.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
we had a couple
Big-
movies released.
Yeah, big
All of them,
blockbuster,
just about.
setting all the records, another Star Wars out there.
Did you watch it, Brian?
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so we actually get an
Well,
opinion
I-
from everybody.
Was
We
it
actually
like
talked
was it
about
like
this
last
one.
weekend or
No, it was over Christmas break or somewhere right around Christmas.
dang?
I say it's far enough removed we can speak freely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I don't think we're gonna.
What'd you guys
spoil anybody's
think?
Fucking fun. I like the shit out of it.
I
Like
I
people,
liked it.
you catch all these bits and pieces on Facebook of the fandom and this and that. I'm like, oh, they fucking this and that, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I thought it was good. I thought it was really good.
I liked it.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was a good ass flick. You know.
I had
And-
zero complaints. I loved
Yeah,
it.
and
it
you
was
know.
not in my top two.
No,
No.
not Star Wars wise.
Oh,
It's
no,
lower on the
yeah.
list for.
But I
the
mean, these
Star
newer
Wars.
ones are on my
But I mean, it's
Force Awakens and Rogue One.
it was a really good flick, and as being, such a big Star Wars fan, obviously I did have some issues with a few things they did here and there, kind of pissed me off. But overall, I really enjoyed the movie. I just, from beginning to end, I was like,
Right.
man, that was a fun-ass movie.
One of the
shit.
biggest parts for me that you gotta like just go with it and just ignore like kind of the part where Kylo Ren, where he basically uses the Force to trick Snoke into killing himself.
Right.
Right? So like you just killed like the baddest motherfucker,
That's showing how
with the
powerful
Force.
Kylo really is.
And then, literally, 30 seconds later, you gotta fight your ass off against these faceless guys that, it's like,
Those dudes are badass.
so you
though.
can't really just, fucking do that to those guys, too?
But they're guards for a reason, though. If something about them probably gives them a little bit of force protection and stuff.
Yeah.
I
mean, all he did.
I
was
just thought, I was like,
I mean, they're protecting them against
all he
Jedi,
did was
basically.
all he did was trick Snoke. Because Snoke was reading his mind, so in his mind,
He was
Kylo
saying
was,
something
was
else.
projecting that he was going to turn his lightsaber on his greatest enemy, and Snoke was thinking that's Rey. He didn't
Yeah.
realize it was himself. So Kylo's the one who turned the lightsaber and stabbed
Yeah.
Snoke. Snoke didn't do that.
no, yeah, that's what I'm
Just
getting
in
at.
his
It's
mind,
he
he
did,
thought,
and so you can't, all of a sudden use the Force to fucking pick your lightsaber up and just saw these fucking red guys in half?
No, well, because the red guys are trained in the Force too.
I guess.
One of my two biggest issues with it was after the Force Awakens, there was the fandom was going crazy with the two biggest theories: who are Rey's parents
Right.
and who is Snoke.
Right.
And I swear, I felt like they got together when they're making this movie. They're like, okay, what are the things the fans are craziest about? Okay, these two things. Let's just say fuck you to the fans. Like, who's Ray Parents? They're nobody. They're some fucking addicts who soldier for their next fix. Okay, who's Snoke? Well, doesn't matter. First time he's on screen, he's dead. We don't learn anything about him. It's like they literally were like, "Fuck you guys" to all the shit you've been talking about for 2 years.
I don't believe that your parents or nobody is really an answer. I think
agree
that's
with
just
that.
smoke and mirrors.
When I'm watching, I was like, no, that can't be it.
Right, exactly.
He's lying to her. He's lying to her, and someday it'll come out that it's different, but that can't be.
That's
that.
and that's
I
how I
still
felt too.
say Ray and Kylo were brother and sister.
That's kind of what I was thinking in the beginning.
Right?
A lot of people were thinking that. But, I think that same thing. I agree. I don't think that that's the truth. We'll find something else different.
Maybe
And
she's
also-
Yoda's son.
And also, Yoda's son.
Whoa. Plot twist.
Mind blown.
From left field.
I'm also wondering, is Snoke really dead?
Half of him probably is.
Could be. I mean,
But his force could have left his body and went somewhere else.
you
kind
know,
of thing.
exactly, I think. Because,
Like
you know,
Yoda?
there was all the theories that Snoke was, we talked about this the very first time I came on the podcast with you guys, where he might have been the guy who trained the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
And that guy was known for having found a way to cheat death.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
He used the Force to control, like, death. He could create life and stuff and keep himself alive. So maybe he found, maybe like you said, maybe he transfers himself to a new body or something.
So
might
maybe
still
he
be
knew
out
he
there, who
was in
knows?
an impossible situation, so he
Exactly.
just
I
got
don't
the
know,
hell out.
man. I think that
Or
deal
even
took
if he,
him
even if
completely by
he got taken by surprise, maybe he has the power to keep going. Who
Well,
knows?
necromancer.
If he really
Yeah,
is,
back.
well, like if he really is the guy that basically taught the Emperor and stuff, he's basically the dark side, the dark version of Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
So if Yoda can continue on in every movie for 100 years
Yeah.
after he's dead,
I mean,
still have the
Yoda
power
was-
to
Yoda
blow up the
has
tree,
could
and
blow up a tree.
I mean,
why not?
why couldn't Snoke be the exact same thing? Just
Yeah,
the
that
dark
part where
version.
he's like, we need to put that fire out. And Yoda's like, fuck that, burn it.
Yeah. Speaking of that,
Ah.
could any of you watch that scene and not think, I'm going to jump on your back, carry me on your back, and then run, seagulls pecking my head?
And getting cut in half doesn't actually mean that you're dead.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
The guy from Phantom Menace, Darth Maul, the dude with the double blade lightsaber, he got
Oh, yeah.
cut in half, but he survived.
That's true.
He came back in the Rebels cartoons. He just has robotic legs. He has robot legs. Now.
Maybe he pulled a Luke and he wasn't even there.
Could be. He could have force projected it.
That was a
Why
pretty
not?
good little twist there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like the second he showed up, like I had to fight myself not say something because my wife beats the crap out of me during movies because I'm always like
Saying the
giving shit
lines.
away,
Dude,
or saying the
my,
lines.
my wife does
She gets
that
so
shit
mad.
too. She well, not like when she's never seen it before, but she's got like this gift. She can like guess what the fuck happens. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, I bet he's the killer.
Yeah,
Sure as shit.
and that's the
she
shit I
fucking
do.
does that every
Yeah.
And it pisses
time.
my wife off. Like I'll say a line, and then the person on the screen will say the line, and she gets mad at me. I'm like, "That's how I would have wrote it. That's what
Yeah.
I would have said in that situation." But like,
It
I
just
had to
shows
stop
it's good
myself. The
writing.
second I saw Luke, I'm like, "That motherfucker is young." Excuse me, he's young as shit. He has brown ass hair. All the gray is gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's not that," and I'm like, "No, that's not right." I'm like, "That is not. He is not really there. That is a fucking force
And
projection."
How like of a man thing is it for him to project himself as a younger version?
Right.
No gray hair, no fucking frailties. Like I'm a bad motherfucker
And
that
what,
looks like.
and what
I'm
I liked
30.
about it is that took from a lot of the old stuff that from the old comic books and novel series and stuff, because that was one of the powers that Jedi did have. They could force project, but when you do it, the person who's seeing your projection is seeing you the way they last saw you.
Okay.
So what they were seeing, that's the last time that Kylo Ren saw Luke. That's what he looked like.
So it wasn't
The last
necessarily
time
Luke
that
doing
Leia-
it; it's just whoever's.
He
I
projected
gotcha.
to them that he's there, but what they see is the last thing that they saw. So that's the last time Leia saw him, that's what he looked like. Last time Kylo saw him, that's what he looked like.
Gotcha.
My biggest
Makes
complaint
sense now.
is I'm not sure if Mark Hamill is a way better actor than I give him credit for, or worse. Because Luke in that movie was so bland.
Yeah,
But
wasn't
it was
great.
a lot like the original Luke. So I don't know if Mark is like, I'm going to play this like Luke is Luke. This is Luke. Or if he just hasn't really figured out any other way to make Luke spicier. You know, I don't know, because Leia didn't seem like the original Leia to me. She felt like a newer, a little bit older, more experienced or
Mature.
whatever. Yeah, she felt like a slightly different character because she's, 40 years older now or whatever. But he felt and sounded just to me,
Like a fucking sheet of paper.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
and most of the scenes that I thought were really stale feeling were his scenes, except for when he walked out of the bunker
We drank the fucking
to face.
animal milk, whatever.
Oh,
Fucking sucked on his titty. Or
Hey man, we always want to know where blue milk came from.
Yeah.
Now we know. No, I loved it after all the laser blasts and everything, and he's like, "That was fucking
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I died."
Yeah.
And he's just like, "That's all you got, you little
Yeah.
bitch."
But yeah,
I really dug the opening dogfight with the
Oh, that was
bombers
good.
and shit. I
Oh,
thought that
yeah,
was
oh,
one of the
yeah,
best
yeah.
parts of the movie.
I mean, the visuals in it were beautiful.
Stunning.
Like,
Yeah.
like the same thing at the end with the walkers, and they were flying across the salt plains and with the red
Oh, yeah.
sand underneath.
Yeah.
Man, that
Yeah,
was
they did
gorgeous
real-
watching
real
that
good.
fight.
and like when they were on the island, all the little creatures you'd see dunking
Oh,
in
yeah.
the water and everything, stuff. The background
Yeah.
And
stuff
I
just really made that.
like one, kind of weird nerdy thing for me is like salt really does that. Salt really turns red.
Right.
Mhm.
Like I worked on this project in California. It was a dry lake bed, and super salty. And every year when the water would, the rains would come in and the water would accumulate, it would fucking look like a giant fucking lake full of cherry Kool-Aid. Like
Wow.
it turns like red, like Fucking Pennywise's hair right there red.
Damn.
And so I'm watching this
You're
movie.
like, that's what it
and
really
I'm like,
does.
that's fucking true right there. That's fucking awesome, man. Fucking salt does that. It's a fucking weird enzyme or something. That
One of the other
fucking makes
things
it
too, I
change
felt
color.
like they could have cut some stuff from it. Like I could have done, like I get it, the whole going to find the criminal dude and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
But I felt like they could have cut that whole scene on that planet. Like I felt like
Right.
it really didn't. I mean, okay, yeah, we're showing the other side because we always see when we see Star Wars, it's always like the dark side of it, like the run down parts of the galaxy.
Without
we see.
that, though, we wouldn't see that kid
Yeah,
use the Force
exactly.
and be a
Like,
future
yeah,
or something.
I get
Picking
that,
up
but
the broom.
I'm still like they could have edited that down some more. I felt like they spent a lot of time on that planet, and it really didn't move things forward that
And
much.
you never
for me.
even the guy that they went to go find. He didn't even
He had like 5 seconds of screen time.
Yeah.
They
Like,
ended up with
yeah.
somebody else.
throw these dice. Fucking-
Another thing that I really like about them, again, they could have cut it down, but going to that planet and everything, is they're the resistance. Their only their only hope is to keep fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do some recruiting and have people believe in you for that to happen. And to see these kids playing rebels
Jedis,
and
yeah.
stuff, it was like, okay, it's going to live on, you know?
You know what I was really hoping when that was all going down, and I knew because we would have known ahead of time. But I wish that who I wish they were going to get that they showed up there, and it was fucking Lando Calrissian.
Yeah.
How badass would that have been if it was fucking Billy D. Williams
Drinking
at
his
the crown
Colt
table?
45.
I was really kind of surprised
How
to see
awesome
that
would
he
that
never
have been?
was in
Dude,
there.
Right?
Dude.
Like, and even if they only used him as the guy who was like, didn't realize that there was, who threw the dice and that was his 5 seconds screen time.
Dude,
that would have been fucking awesome.
would have been
How awesome would that have
fucking
been?
ridiculously awesome.
Like, we pan up and it's Billy D. Williams with his cape and everything going on, just tosses some dice with, the chicks, and then
totally.
that's it.
Absolutely.
Then you
Drink-
can do the
drinking a
rest.
40.
And then it would have been worth it to me. I would have been like, that scene was the whole planet thing was worth it just because
They
Lando
could have tied it
Calrissian
together.
was
That
there.
one little thing would have
That's
tied
it,
it.
yeah. And I was like, that would have been amazing. That's what I was hoping for. I
Do you
was
think
like,
we'll ever see him again?
I hope so.
Lando.
Man,
In,
but I was like,
in
that would have
side
been
stories,
like,
at least.
You think
I
so?
don't know if it'll be Billy D, but we'll see the character.
yeah, I was like, oh man, that would have been the most awesome like secret cameo. Like, don't let nobody know until it
Right?
pops up, and everyone would be
Yeah.
like, it's fucking Lando.
It's fucking Billy D.
Think of the reaction of the crowds when that
Yeah.
scene happened
It
for
would
the
have.
first time.
It would have brought everybody on board with that.
Yeah,
part
that
of the
whole
story.
entire part of the story. Just
That was one of the
because-
other things that people complain about. Like you said, we could have cut that whole thing out. It's like if Billy D would have fucking showed up,
Yep.
not a fucking person
nobody
would
would've
have
complained
griped about that.
Right.
That's one thing I loved about The Force Awakens is we saw it opening night, and every time there was even the slightest hint of anything from like the original trilogy and
Right.
stuff, like
Han Solo,
you hear the
Leia.
Crowds went crazy.
of a TIE fighter, the crowd's just like, ah!
Especially that was the first thing is the TIE fighter.
Yeah.
That was
Speaking
crazy.
of sound, at the one part of the movie where the chick takes the ship and she hyperspaces through Snoke's dreadnought and blows it up, and
Oh,
the sound
yeah.
goes completely gone. There's no sound for a certain like 20 seconds. It's completely silent. Apparently, AMC, I think it was, had to start putting notices up before the movie, letting people know that this was going to happen. because I guess people were like complaining that
Running out to throw a fit that it
complaining
broke.
What happened?
Your sound cut out partway through the fucking movie. I want a refund. Give me tickets. So they actually had a fucking paper on the door saying, in this movie at this such and such time, like the exact 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 45 seconds into the movie, the sound is going to completely cut out during a scene. This is intentional by the director to create a dramatic effect. And I'm
have
are
crazy.
you fucking kidding me?
Have they never seen a movie that had an explosion?
Welcome to 2017.
I was like, when I saw that,
Thankfully, it's over.
when I saw that, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like,
That never even
we can't
remotely
even-
crossed my
It
mind.
never crossed my mind either. I was like, when the sound cut out and you just seen that shit fall apart, I was just like, that's fucking badass.
Right?
And I never once thought, oh, they fucked up. The projector broke. Like,
I think one of the
How do
best
people
parts
not
about that
get that?
scene was when everybody on the bridge of that ship realized what was happening.
oh,
They're
yeah.
like, "What are they doing? She's running away." No, fuck.
Oh, fuck. That was a badass scene, but yeah, I couldn't believe that when I saw those notices that were put on the doors. I was like, that's fucking insane that people can't wrap their heads around the sound cutting out. And it wasn't that long. It was like 10 to 15 seconds at most, maybe.
And how much of an asshole is what's his name going to feel like later on when they get more into detail about that? Because he's like, "Oh, you're such a pansy. You need to man the fuck up and do this and do that." And then come to find out, she's like way more of a badass than he is.
Right.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Another movie that came and went since the last time we spoke was the Will Smith movie on Netflix, Bright.
Oh, Bright. Did you see that?
See, they've already announced
I
the
knew he
sequel.
wasn't gonna say it. I liked it.
Me too.
Like, I heard that there was a lot of negative feedback on the internet, again, from things. But I watched it, I was like, that was a good-ass movie. I'm like, that's just as good as a lot of the shit that's in theaters.
I just want to say it wasn't as good as I was hoping.
Exactly.
But it was a good movie, and I'm looking forward to the sequel.
Yeah.
I think
I'm with a lot of people. I
on
think
the
it would have been better as a
premise
series
and the
than a movie.
That's what my wife was. She was like, make the sequel a fucking series. Just pick up from there. Make that like, this was your cold open. Now you have a series.
So they basically, and it almost seems like they're just throwing it as another way to bring up race wars kind of thing. But basically the premise is there's a whole race of creatures. Well, there's a bunch of them, but there's a race of creatures that live on the planet with us that
Because,
nobody thinks
like
is
1,000 years ago,
just
we lost the battle, and they were able to come into our realm.
But
like, the way
they're
it's set up,
basically dirt. They're all
this
criminals.
is-
They're
yeah.
no good. They're not in
this is
places
this
of
time.
power.
This time in 2018.
Modern day.
Modern day, except for this whole time, imagine like we started at the Lord of the Rings, and then now we're at our time. So
But-
the fairies are still alive, elves are alive, dragons, orcs, all that stuff.
Magic.
But it's like in modern times. So like you have like orc gangsters out there rolling around,
And the
taunting and shit.
and the orcs are totally bad. There's not a good one.
yeah, nobody likes the orcs.
They're dirt. They're the gang members of the world.
Mm-hmm.
They're not anywhere of power or of status.
Okay.
But there's one, and the best you can tell at this point, there's one in the whole freaking universe that decides to be a good guy, and they put him on the police department, and he's Will Smith's partner.
Yeah.
And not only does everybody hate him, everybody hates Will Smith because he's his partner.
Yeah, and like Danny said, a lot of it is them talking about race, but they're using the mythical creatures to do it.
And a
Like
lot of
you-
stereotypes. Like
A-
the
a
orcs
lot of
are really
stereotypes.
strong, not too bright.
Mm-hmm.
The fairies are really, really intelligent. The only ones that can really harness magic and everything. Pixies or fairies are glorified moths.
Yeah, like the elves. They're like the elite of the world. They live in like the nicest part of the cities. They drive the nice cars and have
Run
all
the
good
government.
shit.
Little
They're-
short elves?
Yeah,
No,
no, they're like
a little bit taller
like
than
Lord of the
humans.
Rings.
They're like-
Oh, but just with the pointy ears.
Yeah. Well, they're
the,
short. They're
the
like
beautiful-
you're in
the
my
beautiful
height,
white,
pretty much.
blonde ones who are running the country and have all the money,
Gotcha.
and then you have your humans who are just kind of the middle class in the middle, doing what best they can. And the orcs are kind of the lower class, and you really do see a lot of racial stereotypes placed on each of the groups to kind of show who they're trying to represent.
And the best you can tell, other than that one, every other orc on the face of the earth, or at least in that country, this country, is a dirtbag gang member.
And like the premise of the story is a bunch of years
Or an
ago there was
offensive
a
lineman
giant
for the
war, like
NFL.
a Dark
Yeah.
Lord tried to take over, and we don't know who he was. He was some powerful magic user, and the orcs sided with him. So ever since then, everyone trashes on the orcs because you guys serve the Dark Lord. You're about darkness. You're evil.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I really like the movie, and the whole thing is like there's a magic wand, and there's very few magic wands, and the magic wand could pretty much do anything you want.
But
like it's a free pass to whatever. But only a few people in the world can actually use them, and they're called brights. If you're not a bright,
And
you
you
pick
touch
the
it,
wand up,
you're done.
you explode into like a fucking
Like a
fiery-
little
So if
baby.
you're not a bright and you touch the wand,
You're like a
Yeah.
baby nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
You
Explode.
not only do you blow up, you kind of take out everything
yeah,
around
like,
you
take
too.
out like a city block around you, like yeah. But like the whole like the temptation of it is like if you are a bright, you won't know till you touch a wand. But if you are, that wand could grant any wish you want. You want to be taller, taller. You want to, have
And
bigger
that's why
dick,
they're
bigger
illegal.
dick. You want $1 million, $1 million. But yeah, it's a and you know they come across a wand.
so
and
we
it's like
now know
everybody
what
wants
your
the
three
wand.
wishes were.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, well they
I
actually.
mean, I'd have
mentioned
gone
those-
for more than $1 million, but
They actually, those are what they mentioned in the movie
okay.
when they were explaining it. That's why I use those as reps, asshole.
And they've already come out with they've already announced that there's going to be a sequel.
Mhm.
So would you have thought the movie was better if you didn't know they spent $90 million making it?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Mm.
And
I
even though
think-
probably
On a
78
Netflix movie?
yeah, even though probably 78 million of that was
Will Smith.
Will Smith's budget,
Right.
but
You know, a healthy part of this Wilson, but when you look at it though, I mean, that's a
It's
lot
pretty
of.
visually stunning.
There's a lot of costume. There's a lot of makeup
Right.
that had to be on point every day of filming. That shit's expensive.
Every time
Yeah.
a fairy did anything other than walk, probably cost $20 grand.
Right?
I mean,
yeah. I mean, and
their
then, yeah, the
special
amount of
effects
the
and-
special effects because I mean, I could see why it costs that much when
Right.
you look at it because it is visually.
Does it have the
stunning.
feel of a movie? Or
Yeah,
of
it's
a
like-
TV
movie.
show?
Yeah, it's
It
movie.
feels like
It's
a
movie
movie.
quality.
It's like I said, they could have released that in a theater, and you
Yeah.
would have been like, you know what, that was a good ass movie.
Yeah, I
I didn't
agree.
mind paying, you know, however much to go to the movies it cost me.
So here was my point too about that is how the hell can Netflix afford that? Because I know that people pay subscriptions to watch that, but it's a fairly low subscription. And how many people do you know that pay for it?
And you know,
I mean, like, I know
That's-
I pay for Netflix, but I think a good part of my zip code uses my password. I mean, it's not like, I mean, for every paying
Doesn't-
customer, there's 487 people that are using it.
Doesn't fucking Netflix have some sort of way to tell who's actually using those
No.
fucking deals?
Because they can't limit you. They can't tell you you can have it, but you can only watch it on your cell
TV,
phone.
yeah.
You can, because you can have 75 different devices technically that you could watch it on. The only limits they have is like if you get the basic one, only 2 people can watch it at the exact same time.
'Cause, I mean,
40
think about it.
people can have the password, but only 2 people can watch it at the exact same time.
Because, I mean, like, a lot of people have Chromecasts or Fires or whatever on every TV in their house. People have PlayStation 4s and
Smart TVs.
smart TVs, phones, tablets. Their kids have phones and tablets. And every single one of them, you should be allowed to watch your Netflix account on if that's what you happen to have on you or you're sitting in front of.
yeah, I
and
mean,
computer. You can watch it
on
and
the
computer,
people have
too.
been
Yeah.
saying that
Like
for a
$9
long
a
time
month or
too,
something.
not just about the movie or like that, but I mean, look at all the series. Look at how many series there are. How much did it cost to make the Daredevil series?
Right.
How much did it cost to make, you know, the Defenders and
Right.
Jessica Jones and Luke Cage? How much did it cost to make Godless? I just watched that the other day on Netflix, the Western one they have. All those series they have, the original series. I mean,
Buying
all
rights
those,
to some of these
all
really good
those
shows.
cost just as
Sorry.
much to make as a movie does.
Speaking of Godless, wasn't that the coolest shit ever? I mean,
was
it's a
fucking good.
mini series. It's only what, 6 or 8
limited
parts?
series. Yeah,
6
limited
or 8
series.
parts long.
It was I think 7 episodes, limited series.
I
But
saw
man,
a preview of
But
it. and
that was
It is
fucking good,
freaking
dude. It was fucking
fantastic.
good.
like
I was-
robots doing a western that like.
No,
I'm pretty sure you're
thinking
looking at a
Westworld.
different movie.
You're thinking Westworld.
No, Godless is another Netflix series. It's pretty new. It only came out a month ago.
Yeah.
But it's just a western. There's
It's
no
just a
fancy
western.
crazy shit. It's literally just a
Oh,
western.
Yeah, it's just 7 episodes, Western TV show. Man, it was fucking good.
Yeah.
Like I was into it from like by the end of the first episode. I'm like, this is.
I watched-
I'm watching the rest now.
I watched it in 2
It's
sittings.
happening. Yeah, same here. Like we were into it instantly, but it was a good ass Western. And that's one of those genres that I miss. I feel
Westerns?
like you don't see good Westerns come out
absolutely.
very often. That's why I was so excited when they did the Magnificent Seven remake, because I loved that movie. I loved the original, and I liked the remake. I was like, that was a good-ass movie.
Yeah.
I miss Westerns.
I could definitely stand for that to come back, except
Yeah.
better quality.
I liked The Godless. I thought it was a really good series.
I can't remember if when it came out, but the Punisher series, have we talked about
Oh,
that
yeah.
yet?
No, we haven't. That came out during the...
Oh my god, I
thing.
freaking love that show.
That was so good.
Punisher
Like-
was another one that could have totally been a movie. I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
From the very first, like, 5 minutes in or something of the show, I'm like, shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know,
like,
You're
it was
hooked
just, holy shit.
from the
And,
beginning.
yeah.
Oh, man. Tell me, when he was working on that crew, breaking that rock, you were just waiting for them motherfuckers to push
Right.
him too
Too
far.
far.
Yeah.
Yep.
The whole time I'm like, please just do one more thing, because I want to see him fuck you guys up.
You know
so bad.
it's coming. You just don't know how long you're
Yeah,
gonna
and
have
I'm
to
like,
wait.
just
Yeah.
And
I was not disappointed.
So
Out of all
not a
of
John
the-
Renthenall fan, I was like kind of hurting when I heard that he was gonna be the Punisher. I'm like, fuck, I'll give it a shot anyway. But
I'm with you.
he did a great fucking.
I don't think
Nailed-
anybody could have done it better.
Nailed it. Like, now he is the
Punisher.
Punisher.
Yep.
Who?
Shane from The Walking Dead.
Don't watch that either.
Then you wouldn't know him.
He's this guy.
That's
been in
pretty
a couple
much it.
shows.
He's an actor. He was in the Tank movie with Brad Pitt, Fury.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was one of the
And
tank
he
operators.
was the exact same.
This
He's
guy,
very
man.
stereotyped. He's an asshole.
Yeah.
And everything he's done, he's just a
just an asshole.
grungy, shallow
I've seen
fucking
that movie.
asshole.
I probably know.
I think
You
if it
love
were
that
made
movie.
5 or 10 years ago, I think Eric Bana would probably been pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, but man, that Punisher series was so good.
Yeah.
That's just another one that you're like, wow, they nailed that.
I think that was
Yeah.
by far the best of the
Superhero.
superhero
Shows.
movies that or shows that Netflix did.
Yeah. So, and I mean, they just keep going on with it because like the next Jessica Jones is coming out soon. The first one was really good. Then the next Luke Cage. And
Do you think the Punisher will cross over? At
I
all
could
too?
see him move back and maybe show up somewhere here and there, but like.
Speaking
He
of,
was
It's the
badass.
same universe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they've all been together before because he started as just a side character in Daredevil 2, season 2 of Daredevil. He was just a side character, and he was like, when he just every scene he just stole, and they're like, that dude needs his own series.
speaking of Marvel, did you see where Disney announced that they're going to allow the Marvel shows like what the fuck is his name?
Mickey Mouse?
No, what's the damn?
The blonde chick?
God. Anyway, they're gonna let their rated R shit stay rated R.
Oh, like Deadpool and all
Deadpool.
that.
There
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go. Fuck it.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
So
the whole,
they're-
You brain farted, Deadpool?
Dude, I did. So they're not. Everybody was worried that since Disney owns all that shit now, they were gonna start calming it
Nerfing
down.
that was the other huge
And,
story that
um,
happened since we were gone. Disney is purchasing 20th Century Fox.
Right.
Like, I was so fucking excited when I heard that. Like, first thing I did was get on the podcast group. Like, look at what's happening, guys. Like, I was so excited that Disney was buying 21st Century Fox.
I think you were the one that broke the story
Yeah.
for me. I was like,
I was so like, because I'd heard little rumblings about it, and then when I finally saw some official shit, I was like, this is happening. Yes.
The way I look at it is, in my opinion, Star Wars hasn't been better than since Disney took over.
Exactly. And look what they've done with Marvel too. I mean,
Definitely-
now
definitely.
they've got those rights back to. They own almost every Marvel character now, except for the Spider-Man universe. That's still owned by Sony, but they have everybody else back. And I want to see them do the X-Men. I want to see the Marvel Studios make an X-Men.
Oh,
movie.
yes.
I had no
Like,
idea
I'm
Shane's
so
last
excited.
name was Walsh.
Oh, okay.
who?
That's funny. Shane from The Walking Dead. His last name was Walsh.
Shane Walsh. Didn't know that.
That's what Heather just told us.
But yeah, I'm really excited about that they have the rights back. And like you said, that was one thing people were worried about. They're like, oh, well, now they're going to make Deadpool PG-13.
Right, and they're
You know,
worried that
and
it's
stuff
going to
like
calm
that.
it down, but
Yeah,
they came out.
the
I can't think
head-
of his name now, but the head of Disney came out and said,
Yeah.
"No, Marvel is going to be its own thing still.
Yeah.
We own it,
He's
but
like-
we're not going to screw
Yeah,
with it."
he said he's like we've always toyed with the idea of doing R-rated movies ourselves, and now that we have the properties from 20th Century Fox, we're gonna keep those as they are. We're not gonna.
He actually made a comment
Bring it down.
that Marvel might become the rated R brand of their shows.
Mm-hmm.
So like if they come out with something like if they decided to turn Star Wars into some rated R murder sex fest, that it might
I'm
become
intrigued.
it might be branded as a Marvel production.
Right.
But yeah, I was excited about that.
That'd be
Like,
kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I
At
couldn't
least that'd
believe
make it
that
easier
deal.
for parents, too, to know.
Yeah, if it
Is
says
it a Marvel
Marvel
movie? Okay, you got to wait until
you have to wait till you're 7 or you can't watch it.
7.
Well, that was the thing.
You got to draw a
too.
line somewhere, man.
That was the thing when the first Daredevil came out.
Right.
Like, people did not pay attention. That they didn't
No,
know anything about
but-
Daredevil, and their kids are like,
Oh,
"Oh,
look,
it's a
comic
superhero
book movie.
I want to go
Let's-
see that."
Yeah.
And like, and then the first 10 minutes, it's all
Deadpool.
dick jokes and
Deadpool.
I mean Deadpool.
What'd you say?
Daredevil.
Daredevil.
He pulled a
I'm
me.
like-
I did. But when
Daredevil?
when the
Really?
first
I
Deadpool
haven't
came
seen
out,
that.
I
finally
didn't
got
even
to-
catch
I
it.
finally
Yeah, I
got to call
didn't catch it.
somebody on it.
I
when
didn't
the
even
first
catch
Deadpool
it.
came out, everyone was like, they were taking their kids to. I remember I was
Right.
there watching Deadpool, and I'm seeing these like little 5-6-year-olds over
Oh,
here.
yeah, like,
Before
what
the
the
movie starts, and
fuck?
I'm like, oh my god,
They
this
don't
is-
know.
they don't
And there was
know
literally
what's about to
sex jokes in
happen.
the
And
opening
there's
credits.
like a whole like year-long sex montage where they do
Yeah.
like each holiday how they
Yeah.
fuck on each holiday.
Yeah, that was pretty fantastic.
Oh man, it's gonna
Was-
look huge in this.
Speaking of, wasn't the opening credits of that movie the best opening credits in a
Oh,
movie?
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
ever?
yeah.
Those are badass.
That shit was so funny. And if you read up on it, every single piece of it was an inside joke referring
Little
to
Easter eggs
something.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the sequel's coming out soon. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for Josh Brolin to play Cable, and then he's coming out next year as Thanos in the Avengers movie. I mean,
Yep.
it's finally all
Really?
coming together. Yeah, he's playing 2 Marvel characters, but it's finally come all together. I saw the. Did you see the trailer for Avengers?
Mm-mm.
Oh, the
Yeah.
trailer's out, dude.
That was, what
It
did we
is
just go
insane.
watch? Shit, I can't remember the last movie we watched had the full-length trailer for it.
It is insane. There are so many freaking characters on screen.
All of
Like
them.
you're seeing
Wow.
everybody, seeing Iron Man and Doctor Strange hanging out.
Okay, yeah,
You're
I have
seeing-
seen at least
yeah,
a
you're
small. I'm not
seeing,
sure
you
if it's
know,
full.
Wasn't it when we went and saw
Everybody.
Star
Yeah,
Wars?
I think so.
Might
Yeah,
have been. I
and
mean,
then towards the end of it,
Fuck,
I'm
I
like,
think now I'm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
then towards the end of it, I'm like, they went through this whole trailer and they didn't show the freaking. I am the fucking brain fart.
Guardians of the
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yep.
And then at the end of it, they pop up and they're like, "Who the hell are you guys?" I thought that was fucking
that is
awesome.
great.
Speaking of which-
everybody.
Now I know what I saw because I
Yeah.
remember that.
Helen and I finally watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
so good.
Oh my
dude.
god, it was better than the
It
first.
was way better.
So
than the
good.
Didn't
first
you
was
just
such
watch
an
the first
excellent
one?
movie. Like a year
a
ago.
year ago. So.
The second one was fucking amazing. Dude.
Oh my
Like,
God,
and they
I was-
like even elevated.
I got so misty-eyed like so many times in that fucking movie. I was like, seriously, God, dang it.
Man, when they do the funeral for Yondu at the
Oh,
end,
man.
I
Oh,
was
yeah.
I was
Yeah.
tearing like crazy, man. That was so good. And then another one, the same thing. The end there of the Avengers trailer, it was Thor who saw him. And did anyone
Oh,
else see
yeah.
the Thor movie that just came out?
I haven't seen that one yet.
So fucking
I
good,
have
dude.
not seen
I
it.
want to see it.
I could not stop laughing from the very first scene till the credits rolled. That movie was freaking amazing and so hilarious, dude. It was
Wow.
It's one of the best movies that Marvel's done up to this point.
Really?
And the first 2 Thors were kind of lackluster, you know. They were.
I like
they
the
were okay
trailer for
movies,
it.
but man, that movie was fucking hilarious.
I love the trailer for it when Hulk comes into the arena. He's
I
like,
know this
"I
guy."
work with that guy."
Yeah. And you know what's funny about that line is that line was actually done by a kid from I think the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
No way.
Really?
Yeah.
That is so
That
cool.
was like he like came. It was something like that. Like a sick kid in a hospital or something came up with that line.
He's
Like
like,
I
I want
work with
to.
that
My
guy.
dying wish is to.
And
is to.
I don't remember
script.
how.
Or
it
maybe they
worked.
had a
It was-
contest
There
or
was
something?
some kind of contest or something. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. But
Huh.
the Hulk was great in it, and it was cool to see the Hulk as the Hulk for most of the movie. He wasn't Bruce Banner.
Yeah.
He was the Hulk
Yeah.
with the Hulk's
kinda cool.
attitude.
Yeah,
Like,
because so
Puny
far
Banner.
everything he's been in as Bruce Banner sucks. The Bruce Banner part,
Yeah,
I
like
think.
in the older movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like I like that it was like the Hulk, and then and the Hulk he's the puny Banner, and that shit was hilarious. And Jeff Goldblum's character, oh my god, dude, he fucking nailed it. That dude had me cracking up the whole movie. That movie was amazing. Such
They're
a
gonna,
good movie.
and like we keep talking about though, I mean, at what point are they gonna absolutely destroy the ability to have a regular ass movie?
right.
I mean,
Right,
you're
like
gonna.
it-
There's not gonna be any Thor movies anymore because if there's not 286 characters in there, it's gonna bore the shit out
It's
of you.
going to look
now,
like
you know
that
what I mean?
Marvel poster that several of us had when we were younger that had
Oh,
every
all of them?
character.
Yeah, everybody.
that poster is going to be a movie at some
Yeah.
point.
Well, that is the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That's what that is. I think
But-
Last Count had something ridiculous, like a ridiculously like 88 different Marvel heroes
shit.
and characters in that movie. Like
They
it's
did good with
ridiculous.
they did good with Spider-Man though, the new Spider-Man
Yeah.
by keeping it kind of calm and only having a couple in there. and-
See, and that's in the same thing with Thor. I mean, there were, you had all the Thor characters, and then you had the Hulk in there. So that he was like one addition. So I could see them doing like their movie, like the next, Iron Man movie, but then you have like one guy from the other group come in
Right.
too.
What's
So
her
like I
name?
said, I could see it progressing that direction.
What's her name too? The blue sister from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, Nebula.
Nebula, there you go.
She is- she's
her goal in life is
awesome.
to kill Thanos, so she's
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
make an appearance in
Oh
that
yeah,
movie.
she's in the Thor movie too. She just wrapped.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, Karen Gillian. She just wrapped filming the other day. I saw. Yeah, another movie she was just in that I saw was the new Jumanji.
No shit.
Yeah, she's in the new Jumanji
Not as the
movie.
blue freaky thing.
No,
though?
she's not the blue freaky thing. There's
Different
one
universe.
scene though.
Robot arms.
There's
The
one
universe
scene.
has limits, Danny.
There's one scene in Jumanji where she went fucking Nebula though. There's this one scene and I don't remember. She says something and does something a certain way, and I was like, "That's fucking Nebula from Guardians of the Galaxy right there."
That's awesome.
But it was the Jumanji movie. It's one of my top.
I haven't
movies
seen
now.
that one yet either.
Wow.
It's one of my top movies now. They
I
did
love-
such a great job.
I love in the second one though, where the two sisters are arguing, and the one sister's like, every time Dad got happy with you and mad with me, he pulled my arm off or ripped my leg off or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, I never noticed that. It just never dawned on her that her sister was getting ripped to pieces by her father.
Yeah, that was.
I mean, I can understand not really noticing what's going on around you, but that's a little much.
my issue with that though is she's like, you always had to win. You never wanted to be just a sister or something.
Bitch, you got your arms ripped off
I
every
wouldn't
time
want
you
to
lost.
lose either. I kind of like being
I guess it sucked
all
to
of
lose,
me.
didn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, I don't want to trade places, and next thing you know, I'm walking around with robot legs and shit.
That was the second Guardians was a really good movie.
Yeah, loved it.
So
But
do you
when
think?
you guys get the chance, you got to watch that new Jumanji movie. It was so good.
Yeah.
Do you
It
think
was
there's
a
going to
great
be
sequel.
any more Guardians of the Galaxy movies without
I hope so.
the whole rest of the fucking crew?
I hope so.
Yeah, it should be. James Gunn's working on the script for Guardians 3 right now. So
Oh no shit.
yeah, so I mean, there should be. There, like everyone's like you said. I mean, there is that pull. Like you got to have everybody in the movie now, but they're supposed to still get back to, having just that with maybe a cameo here and there. Still have to have real movies.
Right.
'Cause we have Black Panther coming up.
I kind of hope
Oh,
that
yeah.
maybe the Avengers is their way of saying, you know what, let's throw a bunch of shit at people, and then all the other movies will still be
Yeah.
their independent thing without getting.
And then
carried
like
away.
every 10 years they'll have a giant
It's
battle
like, yeah,
royale.
Well,
big
like,
thing, yeah.
like how they did with Deadpool. They brought him out of. It was just seemed different from everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then Black Panther too. Just like you
Yeah.
said, that's gonna
Black
be.
Panther's coming up.
Is there
then the
any cameos
Avengers.
in Black Panther?
Oh yeah. And then there's
There's
gonna
almost
be
got to be
the-
a bunch of them.
Then the new Ant-Man, the next Ant-Man movie, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Ant-Man
Is,
2, that's coming out.
Is he still the same guy?
Yep, Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd. There you go.
And then after that,
That's
we're gonna
funny
have
as
the
shit.
second event because there's two Avengers movies. There's a part 1 and a part 2.
It's almost like Ant-Man is a spoof. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah.
Would you ever have in your life until now thought that Paul Rudd was going to be playing a superhero?
Yeah, and he does a great Ant-Man.
He
He's
is.
a really good. But then, that's what I like about it because, like you said, each of them have kind of their own flavor.
Right.
Like their own vibe to them. And then after the second Avengers, then we're gonna have the second Spider-Man movie. That'll be like after what happens with the second Avengers.
Will the second Spider-Man be prom?
That's what I was wondering. Homecoming next prom.
Uh,
But that one's gonna be our first movie post whatever happens with Avengers. And I've heard that Avengers is supposed to be like the bloodiest Marvel movie. Motherfuckers are dying. Like we're gonna see people that this will be the last time we ever see.
like
those
people that
heroes
we
on
give a
screen.
shit about?
Damn.
Yeah, like
In the
there's-
next Avengers movie?
in these
The one
next
that's coming
two
out right
Avengers
now.
movies that they have. This next one, the one that's going to be next year, and then there's one the year after that. That there's going to be heroes that we've been following forever. That this is their swan song. They're
Wow.
done and gone after these Avengers, after some of these movies.
Do you think we'll ever see
Get
like
worked out.
back like a Titanic? Now it's pretty common to have a 3.5, 4 hour long movie. Do you think we'll see any more come out to where they actually do intermissions and shit? Instead of having half of it now and half of it a year from now, where they have it 4 hours long and you get a rest break?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was watching what was it? I was watching Mad World. I love that movie. It's a really old comedy, and I remember like the intermission came. I'm like, I forgot about fucking intermission.
They did the intermission on the TV?
I honestly think,
Yeah, like I was watching the DVD and the intermission
Oh,
was on the DVD.
yeah.
That's awesome.
I honestly think that the studios are too greedy now to let that happen. The movies are gonna keep fitting into a box.
They'd rather split
2
them up
hours,
to
yeah.
make
They're like, well, why wouldn't we fucking sell this movie twice?
That's true.
I disagree because back when we were growing up, movies like the Blues Brothers and stuff, hitting the 2 hour mark was, oh my god, this is the longest fucking movie I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much the standard now. So there are going to be longer versions. And then eventually the longer versions are going to be the norm, but there are going to be longer versions. And I think it's just going to keep getting
Here's
pushed.
what I'll be watching, like, because I was doing this with Star Wars, like, so far, and I looked at my clock, I'm like, okay, it's only been, I'm like, I want more. I'm like, okay, it's been an hour, so I knew the runtime. I'm like, okay, so there's still this much more. Like, I want more. I want the more. I don't want it to be short.
Right.
And we were just talking about this before we started recording about the movies that, like, you hear the first draft or the first cut was like 5 hours long. And then when it goes into theaters, it's barely 2 hours long. You guys cut 3 hours worth of fucking film off? Like, what did you cut out of the movie?
And is that really...
You cut more out of the movie than what we actually saw in the theater.
Is that really...
Is
it really bad that they did that? Or is it really good that they did that?
Yeah,
like we were talking
I want to see the 5-hour cut. Put it on this DVD.
But yeah, I don't mind. Like when they did the special edition for the Lord of the Rings and they put back in all the shit. And it went from being... Lord of the Rings was already like a 2.5-hour movie. It went from that to being each movie was 4 hours long.
Yeah.
Right.
So you were like 12 hours or some shit to watch all three of them.
I think it was pushing 16 for all three.
Yeah. And
all the bonus footage.
I didn't fucking mind having all that bonus footage. I watched the 4-hour movie and enjoyed the shit out of it. Now I can understand that would be tough for theaters because like you said, they want to make money.
Right.
They want that turnaround. The shorter the movie is, the more showings we can have in a day, the more tickets we can sell, the more money we can make.
The last one I remember
in our
doing
lifetime
it.
we'll see a 3-hour movie in the theater, but I don't know that it'll get any longer than that.
The last one I remember doing was Titanic. It had an intermission.
Yeah.
You literally watched about 2 hours, and then you got a fucking lunch break.
It
was like 15 minutes.
Like I said, it's too money driven nowadays. Like back then, it was still about the art, but it's gotten to the point. I mean, like for it to be feasible for a theater to play a 3-hour fucking movie, they'd have to charge $30 fucking for it.
They don't.
Well, how many people are gonna go watch a movie and pay $30 to go see it? Like
a lot of people. A lot of people.
Just for the ticket, I mean, just to get in. I mean,
that's what we're talking about.
And then you're gonna
if you don't go on a matinee or whatever,
we go to IMAX. What is it? IMAX like $16 a person or some shit now?
Something like that. Well, shit. What if just the regular ass fucking Harkins ticket? If you go in the evening, is the highest shit anyway. It's like pushing $10 or something.
More than that. Because the matinees are like $9 or $10.
Yeah,
no, I think the regular one's $9 and some change. Pretty sure.
All I know is that shit's fucking expensive.
Yeah, because I know $20 will get you 2 tickets.
Okay.
Yeah, you spend like $17.50 or something for 2 tickets or some shit. But yeah, I mean it's expensive just to go to a regular ass movie. So I can see if they start charging that. But you know, one of the things I like that they do a lot nowadays, and we were talking about this earlier with Back to the Future, is I like when they film them all at one time.
Yeah.
Like if you want to make a trilogy, film all that shit at once, and then release them 1 year apart.
And if you have to, you can go back and make changes with CGI. Or
you can do, go back. Yeah, you can do reshoots, have the guys come back if a part didn't work quite. I mean, they do that already.
Yeah, they're going to do that already, but at least you wouldn't have to, $9.50 for an adult.
That's what they did with the Lord of the Rings when they did them. That's why everyone was like, oh man, they're all shooting all 3 Lord of the Rings at one time. Like that. I'm like, that's how you got to do it.
Didn't it take them like 7 months or some shit like that?
It's like, instead of, like 2 months of filming, it takes in like 7-8 months of filming. But I mean, I like that because then you're going to have that continuity. You're not going to have, actors go off and do...
Trademark.
That is one of our aimless trademarks. Actors go off and do other things like what we were talking about with the Superman. Mm-hmm. In Justice League, we were talking about it. The guy who plays Superman, Henry Cavill, had went off and was doing some other movies where he grew out his big-ass mustache. And then he had to come in to do shooting for Superman, and because he was on contract for the movie, he couldn't shave it. So Warner Brothers had to spend a ridiculous amount of money to CGI his mustache off of his face, and it looks weird as shit.
I think they should have gotten the South Park guys to just use construction paper.
I don't see how they figured that CGIing it off would be cheaper than just shaving it and gluing on a fake mustache for the other movie.
Because it was
the other movie has priority. It's the other
how
movies.
Expensive can the best glue-on mustache be? $1,000?
The other movie was probably a competitor company.
It wasn't the same company. It wasn't Warner Brothers. It was somebody else.
They did it purely to fuck Warner Brothers.
Unless there was some
they'd be like, hey, let's put
it
in contract that he can't shave that shit just to fuck with these guys.
We're going to cost you $500,000 right now.
And that literally it cost like $500,000 to do this CGI off his mustache.
Like,
and all
we can fix this with $1,000 and some fucking glue stick, but
no,
we're gonna
fucking ram you guys for the CGI. And look, his upper lip looks weird as shit. Like when you know to look for it, you're like, that doesn't look right.
You pay $1,000 for a fake mustache and then use a glue stick to put it.
Man, that mustache looks something it just fell off.
But
it looks good on that chair.
Like the fake nuts from Will Ferrell in Step Brothers.
Oh yeah,
that he rubs on the drum set. Those things cost $10,000 to make those fake fucking nuts.
That's what somebody said. The dick in
Dirk
Diggler was like that.
Nuts.
Yeah, fuckload of money.
I think the ones in Johnny Knoxville's movie probably wasn't as bad. The dirty grandpa or whatever it was, where he's dancing on the floor with them hanging out of his shorts and shit.
But yeah, those ones for Step Brothers, they spent $10,000 to make some fake prosthetic nutsack. That's a lot of fucking money.
I'd have just shown
What
the nutsack.
company do you go to for that?
Like,
Do they have like
what company's known as the
Nutsacks
fake
Unlimited
nutsack,
or
the fake
Like, they
Balls
didn't even show his
are-
face. You couldn't got like some guy on the street like, dude, I'll pay you $1,000.
Right,
Put your
just
nuts
an
on the
extra.
drum set.
What is it?
Yeah, it showed like that much of his
Dude,
body. Like,
They get butt doubles. Why can't they get a nut double?
How'd you like to be
Plus,
the
hasn't Johnny
producer?
Knoxville showed his nuts on the Jackass movies?
Oh,
Yeah.
multiple times.
How'd you like to be the producer for those fucking tryouts?
is this still my list from?
Can you walk in and drop your balls on that snare drum over there?
Fake nudity is more okay than real
your
nudity.
balls don't stretch far enough. Sorry, dude.
That's the Wilcox fucking.
So I got a question for everybody.
30.
Okay.
Okay, good answer.
Thank you.
So what are you doing? You're just
I'm
chilling,
standing
hanging
6.
out, and all of a sudden on your phone you get an alert that there's a ballistic missile on the way.
Oh shit!
Oh, I heard about that. Oh my god, I don't know. I
That
wonder
was
how many
fucking
people.
funny.
I wonder how many people had sex with somebody that they
Did
wouldn't
it
normally
fucking
have
like
sex
alert
with.
him like the dust storms do?
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
us?
it was.
Yeah.
It's like
And-
they have an alert system like
And
that.
it took
in
them
Hawaii.
38 minutes to fix it because
Dude,
there's
they were
no oops, that was a mistake button. They literally
Yeah.
had to design one.
They fucking were saying that they were throwing kids in storm
Yeah,
drains.
yeah.
and shit.
I saw videos of that.
The only time that was ever supposed to go out is when it was 100% legit.
Yeah. So like the people didn't even know that was an option that
Right.
they could get that. But yeah, people were taking the covers off of storm drains. I saw videos of them lowering their kids into the storm drains to give them some kind of protection.
My favorite part about it was how many people that live there got on Facebook to bitch about it when they thought they had, sometime in the next 12 minutes I'm going to be evaporated, so I'm going to get on Facebook and bitch about it.
Fuck Trump.
Feeling annoyed.
Feeling
Missiles coming, I guess. FML.
poopy emoji.
Feeling annoyed.
Isn't that fucking great?
But yeah, when I saw that, I was
Good
like,
Lord.
what the fuck would I do if I got that message? And if you're in Hawaii, you're legitimately worried about that.
See,
shit.
if you're in
Like,
Hawaii, you're legitimately
Yeah.
worried. If I got it,
You
I would
gotta be
assume
like-
I'm like, well, there goes Los Angeles.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, we're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you're in Hawaii,
I hope it doesn't
you're
fuck up my
legitimately,
Netflix
Be
stream.
like,
holy
Does
fuck.
that mean it's really targeting
He's
us?
gonna be like, I'm good.
Yeah, I mean,
See,
you know,
tell he's been through hazmat training.
it's
That's
like I've got.
He's
5
seen our
minutes.
blanket.
in hazmat training. That's literally what they teach you. If you can cover the whole thing with your thumb, you're safe. If you can see it around the edges of your thumb, you're not. I'm not sure if that works with nuclear missiles, but it works with hazmat.
That's where Fallout got it, is nuclear
Yeah.
blasts.
Yeah, but in real life, I'm not sure if that really.
I mean, they literally got that because even if it's real or not, that was what was told to people when nuclear
Oh, I
blasts
got you.
were a
I'm
thing.
with you. I thought
Yeah.
you meant just.
Well, I
from
mean,
the
just
game.
like duck and cover.
Right.
Remember, they'd have duck and cover drills.
Get under your
like,
table.
Get underneath your desk
Okay.
at school,
Fucking,
and that's going to protect you from the nuclear.
Well, you know-
This pressed wood fucking.
Well, you know,
made
they
in
actually.
China fucking
This
school
one weighs
desk.
about 800 pounds.
I was
It might
watching
actually
something
help.
that actually proved that may help. Like, not ground zero necessarily, but if you're on the outlying edges and it knocks the parts of your building apart, it could actually prevent just like from the timbers of the roof from killing you kind of thing.
Dude,
So
when I went to Texas to race last fall. On our way from my buddy's shop in Midlothian to Waco, which is where the track was, there's a town is called West Texas.
right.
And I didn't know that was the name of the town. I just always heard the story about West Texas. And I'm like, well, why don't they tell us the fucking name of this town? But the name of the town is West Texas. And a guy literally they were building fucking bombs there. And an employee fucking just went apeshit and decided to fucking kill everybody and purposely set off the fucking explosive material. And they said, basically what happened is there was storage tanks of all this stuff, and the blast literally leveled the town.
Damn.
Like fucking everybody fucking just died. And they're saying, and that was only 2 of the 3 tanks. They said if the third one would have fucking gone to it, like a large chunk of Texas would have been affected.
Wow.
Like that's how like violent this blast would have been. But like one of the fail safes that he thought he had bypassed actually worked and prevented this extra tank. But he said in a deal like that, like there was no getting away from it. Like and I would imagine a fucking nuclear blast is the same. There's like doesn't matter fucking what you do, what you get under, what the fuck. I mean,
Right.
if you're fucking at ground zero, like
You're gonna evaporate.
There's no or even like close to it. Like he said, like the blast radius was like a fucking, I don't know, I can't remember what he said, like half a mile or something like that. Like, that's a fucking huge area, you know, where like everything was fucking just vaporized and fucked, you know.
That's like, I don't remember what the plant was, but outside of Vegas, this probably would have been like late 80s. There was a plant that
I saw
exploded.
the video of that.
Yeah, well, we had a good friend of my parents lived in Henderson, Nevada, which is like a suburb of Vegas, basically. And she was like 12 miles from it, and it blew all the windows out of her house. I remember she was an older lady, had some issues, and we drove to Henderson to help her put windows back in her trailer after that happened. That shit was crazy. And that wasn't even like a explosives plant. I mean, it was like natural gas plant or something. I don't remember what it was, but
I can't remember, but I one day fucking scrolling through YouTube, you know, we just linked video after video of like, I think I started on like boat wrecks and fucking.
Next thing you know, you're watching
explosions.
What's crazy too with the nuclear stuff is like you look at
we pop into people's computers once in a while like that.
You look at the pictures in like Hiroshima and stuff of the what do they call it, the nuclear shadows.
Oh, yeah,
where people evaporated and you can still see the shadow where they blew up at. And that's freaky.
Like, yeah, why wouldn't you get rid of that? Like, that's not like a natural.
Speaking of disasters and how they affect you, did you know like Puerto Rico, their whole mess we were talking about earlier? Did you know a good amount of the medical supplies that we use are made there?
In Puerto Rico?
Puerto Rico.
Wow.
So like IV bags are ridiculously hard to get a hold of right now. Most of the major, like, Demerol. Any of you ever been on Demerol before? No. Pretty good chance you haven't, because they haven't really used it mainstream in like 20 fucking years, because it's fairly dangerous. Well, I just had knee surgery 3 weeks ago, and I have this fun little thing where when I wake up from anesthesia, I decide to fight and try to beat the fuck out of the nurses and stuff, because I'm out of it. I lose control. I get really sick. I get really violent. It's always been this huge problem.
You're mean drunk.
I am. And what made me think of this is when I started to wake up, I don't remember any of this, of course, but when I started to wake up, started fighting, the anesthesiologist sitting there, and I wake up, I start throwing blows, and they don't want to fight with me, so he just fucking pumps me full of Demerol and puts me back on my ass. Well, I was like, why Demerol? Because, I mean, I remember as a kid, when I had my appendix out, they had me on Demerol. I was 12, 13 years old, and I haven't seen it since. Well, apparently a lot of the mainstream painkillers they use for this shit, like Dilaudid, morphine, all that shit, a lot of that is produced down there, so now that they don't have electricity, they're running the fuck out.
Damn.
Really?
Yep, IV bags are like, I mean, most places don't have
why
them.
Why would that shit be made there?
So, I have no idea why, but here's my philosophy on it. Puerto Rico is American, but they're not quite up to American standards.
So shit
they can probably make sure that it's built to American quality, but still pay them $3 an hour, maybe. That's my guess. I have no idea, but I don't know. But there's a lot of it.
I would imagine that that they would have caught on to that a long time ago, and some civil rights people would have like.
I don't know, but I know a lot of it's down there.
Anyways,
yeah, I don't know.
I don't see how they could get away with it.
But IV bags are in huge shortage.
That's weird though. One of those.
A lot of that shit, like painkillers and shit, is like emergency room only.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's freakish. But would you ever think there'd be a time where IV bags are hard to get a hold of? And it's not because...
Not in this modern world.
Yeah.
It's not anything I've ever thought of.
I mean, I could understand it if this giant war broke out and we're like World War II, 10,000 casualties a day kind of thing.
Right.
But it's not. It's because the country they're made in can't find electricity.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not in this modern era. It's not anything. It's one of those things you never think about. You
Yeah.
don't think about where IV bags come from and whether or not they're going to be available.
Why doesn't Mr. Tesla go down there and
Make some IV bags, yeah. Well, the sad thing is because
Tesla bag.
Yeah, the sad thing is about that is they
Tea
probably
Nice.
they probably are only sending it to places that they feel are priority, and the government down there probably doesn't consider that priority
Right.
because they probably have plenty for them.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's an interesting one. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's little nuggets of info there.
Yeah.
Good one.
See, we teach you shit while you watch this podcast.
The more you know.
Another thing I
G.I.
found
Joe.
interesting about Tesla is that this was probably 3 or 4 months ago now, but in major corporations, chain of command is a huge deal. Like, you cannot go to above your boss. if you are a boss, you can't like go to somebody else's people. You have to go to their boss, kind of thing. Well, what's his name that runs Tesla? Elon Musk. He put out a memo to every employee saying basically he wants to do away with that because in the technology world, minutes can be a big deal when it comes to being the first one to the punch. So if you have a really good idea, he doesn't want the chain of command to slow it down. He doesn't want you to have to go, hey, boss, Bill over here in this sector, in Sector G, really needs this information. Can you run it past his boss and run it through his boss and his boss and see if you can get it over
Bill's
there?
boss takes credit for it and then fucking ruins it.
And the other problem is it's 4 fucking months before it finally gets there because nobody gives a shit. Well, he made it to where in his company, if it's something that could potentially be time sensitive, there is no chain of command. If you're bottom level fucking janitor and you come up with a great idea, you can take it straight to Elon Musk. I thought that was pretty cool.
I can't fault him for that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
It definitely could fix some headaches.
Yeah, that was my initial thought when I heard that. Is that's awesome because give credit where credit's due as well. Because
right.
The
So you
problem
don't
with
get
good
fucked.
ideas is, hey, pass us up the chain. I think we have a good idea. No, it's a stupid idea. Hey, boss, I have a really good
look
idea.
what I just came up with.
It's kind of funny. I was watching a good example of that. I was watching the movie Troy the other day. Remember that? Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Trojan horse.
Well, when they first take over, Achilles comes up and storms the beach with him and his like 40 guys way before the military
Yeah,
gets
everyone
there.
else is back there on their
And that
boat
night,
still.
the king is celebrating his victory when it was literally done before the king even got to the beach, while the military was still rowing their fucking boats. And he comes in there, and basically, the gist of it is, he's like, what the fuck? You didn't do this, I did. He's like, yeah, but kings get credit for that shit, not peon soldiers. And that's exactly the same thing. Because I'm pretty sure Elon Musk doesn't come up with most of the ideas that his company has credit for.
Oh, I'm sure.
Smart man. Yeah.
Surround yourself by smarter. Or equally or close to, anyway.
That's what I do. Kind of.
Not so much.
So where we go next?
I started playing another mobile game, and I want to see what you guys think about the title of it, because I think it's questionable at best.
Butt fuckers.
Close. It's a wrestling game. It's a wrestling game, but it's the slingshot style of mechanics.
Like Angry Bird wrestling?
Yeah, kind of. But you don't have actually guys. It's more like pogs.
So you like fling Hulk Hogan at fucking...
So I was like,
Kinda,
and
yeah.
Hulk Hogan's like, woo! Through the air.
That sounds more like Ric Flair.
Yeah, but they're more like pogs, and they slide around the ring and everything. And if you hit your partner, you get their little tag bonus and stuff. It's fun.
Angry Birds Pogs wrestling.
One thing I've learned in life is when I hit my partner.
What Pogs are.
Yeah.
One thing I've learned in life is when I hit my partner, I do not get a bonus.
Why not? I mean,
I get hit back a lot harder.
Yeah. But the name of this game
Yeah, I get stabbed. That's true.
is Muscle Hustle.
Oh.
That's a name. No, that's a name right there.
Doesn't that sound like a
Muscle
nickname,
Hustle.
like a double entendre innuendo?
Just do the muscle
That would be the
hustle.
perfect name for... What's that movie with the bodybuilders that accidentally killed a bunch of fucking...
Pain is gain? Or pain equals
Pain
gain?
and
or
gain
no pain, no
and-
gain? Or...
Oh, yeah, I know which one you mean with The Rock
What?
and Marky Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be the perfect name for that fucking
Yeah.
movie?
That's a great name for that movie. Okay, Muscle Hustle.
Yeah, I just thought the name was really
Muscle hustle.
interesting.
I'm just still thrown off by the concept.
I don't
it's
have either one of
flinging
those.
Pogs around like Angry Birds.
Muscle or hustle.
No.
Muscle Hustle.
Uh,
That's crazy. I got.
What-
Okay.
Go ahead.
No,
You first.
You first.
I was going to say, what do you want
I'm going to talk about...
I got a new. The new game I'm addicted to on my Xbox is that PlayerUnknown's Battleground. Have you heard of that?
PlayerUnknown?
Yeah.
PlayerUnknown's Battleground. And I'm addicted to this fucking game. I can't wait for it to come out on the PS4 so you can freaking try it out. But
Will it?
was originally on the PC.
Oh, is that the one where you get
And now
dropped
it's on-
off?
Yeah, you get dropped off.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I want to try that.
The concept is you start out and you're on like this runway, like an airplane runway, and 99 other people are on the runway with you. So there's 100 people in this game.
Is this real people? Is
Yeah,
this...
real people. And then you get loaded into like a big ass like C-130 and you fly over this island. And whenever you're ready, you can hit a button and you skydive out the C-130 down onto the island wherever you want to land. And the island has like cities and forests and all kinds of shit. You land wherever, and you have nothing on you. Everybody has nothing on you, and it's a fight to the end.
Hopefully a parachute.
Well, you have a parachute. No one's in the ground, you don't have a parachute anymore. And it's a fight to the end out of the 100 people, whoever's the last one alive. And you can run in buildings and find, like, guns, like, M16s and AK-47s, grenades and shit. And it's just a massive battle on this island until there's
You
only
land
one
on the
person
beach, you're
left
throwing
alive.
clams at people.
Pretty much, clam bake all the way. But, yeah, so I've just been addicted to this, man, because this thing, it's intense.
So it's like, is it 24 hours?
No, what they do is, once you land on the island, it randomly picks a spot on the island and designates that as the play zone. And you have so many minutes to get to the play zone, otherwise you start taking poison damage.
Oh, I got you.
So if you're not already in the play zone, you're looking for like cars and motorcycles and shit to try to drive to the fucking play zone, while you're also trying to find weapons at the same time you're fighting the other people who parachuted near you. And it's just you versus 99 other people, and it's fucking chaotic. It has you like I'm like on the edge of my couch when I'm playing this shit.
It's fucking Hunger Games.
It's the Hunger Games, and they based it off of the Japanese version of the Hunger Games, is where they got the idea from.
So is there any?
Japanese Hunger Games?
Oh yeah.
Is there
Japanese
any
Hunger Games.
continuation to it, or is
No,
it like a
that's it.
fresh start every time?
How
Every
long
time
does it-
it's
how
a
long
fresh
does it
start. It depends. Sometimes you can be dead in the first couple minutes and have to go find a brand new game, start a whole.
No, but like, how long does it take
But-
the cycle to get down to one person?
If you get it all the way to the end, it's usually like a 30 to 40 minute like.
No
five-
shit, that's
That's not
quick.
bad, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh fuck.
but like every
That
like,
sounds pretty fucking
like
cool.
every
Yeah.
like 5 minutes the circle will shrink.
Mm.
So if you then it randomly picks a spot.
It ends
in the
up
circle,
being
yeah,
5
and it
people in a
keeps
house.
randomly shrinking smaller. Exactly, or like 4 people in the middle of a fucking field.
See,
all,
even like
crawling through fucking green and shit, trying to see where somebody's throwing random ass grenades, and it keeps getting smaller and smaller until you're in this little tiny area where you're like,
You
how
literally
are
have to
you're
fight
like
these
you're
people.
sitting there and you're like, how the fuck are there 5 people still alive?
Turns into
Like there's not
GoldenEye
enough
with
space
knives.
for 5 people. How are we all still alive?
So does
And
the
it
world
gets fucking
shrink up
intense.
on you as you guys come in?
Yeah, there's like this like blue wall of like lightning that shrinks down on you, and it'll pass over you. And if you're outside of that blue wall, you start just taking damage over like constantly. And you'll have like heal packs, try to heal yourself, and you'll be running through the fucking woods and stop and try to heal yourself. Run some more, stop and heal yourself. And the smaller the circle gets, the more damage you take if you're outside of it. So when you get down to the little one, if you're outside, you're dead in like 3 seconds. But when in the beginning, if you're outside, you could run for like 2 or 3 minutes and maybe make it to the circle if you're quick enough. But it is intense, man. That thing, it really gets you. And just like to come out as the victor over 100 people, it'd be like
And it's
Ivy.
all online players,
all online
real
players,
people.
all real people,
See-
100 real people battling it out
What I like about that is it's a fresh start every time.
every time.
So that like for instance, Call of Duty. I love the online Call of Duty, but 2 hours
Duty.
2 hours after the game comes out, there's some cheating motherfuckers that are like level 50.
and they have
they're-
all the cool weapons
Right.
and all the cool
Exactly.
abilities.
And
That's
there's
when-
nothing you can do about it. So that concept
That's
where
what I
there's
love about it, because every time you start a game, everyone starts off
You're
with
not
the same
fighting
shit.
against a guy in body armor.
It's always
Fucking-
equals.
Exactly. Like they have like when you finish a match, you earn like points, like
Right.
that you can spend on these crates. And when you open the crate up, all it gives you is like a random piece of clothing. The clothing doesn't matter; it doesn't help you at all. It just makes you look cool.
so you
So,
can
like,
decorate.
You might decorate. So you might go down with like a ball cap and like a cool shirt and some pants on, but the guy next to you might just jump out in his fucking underwear. And both of you have the same amount of fucking chance of doing shit, because the clothing doesn't make a difference in the game.
You just look cooler when you
just
die.
look cooler with or you might just enjoy jumping out in your fucking underwear and running around with some tidy whities. But yeah, everybody has the
Sign me
same
up.
exact.
So it'd be like
chance.
Brian. He might go out the same time we do. He's just going to be better coordinated when it happens.
Exactly. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have a matching hat
He's
and
gonna have the
shirt.
matching hat and shirt. But that's what I love about it too. Is every single match, everyone starts off on the same playing field. Nobody has any advantages.
That's actually
It
really
doesn't
cool.
matter whether you've played, for fucking every day for 3 weeks or you just picked it up for the first time. Because everything's random. Like the island is the same and where the houses and stuff are, but where the weapons show up is all random. So you could walk in a house and you might find like an AK-47 and like a mini Uzi right off. And then the next time you play, you could go to the same house and find a smoke grenade in there, and that's it. So you never know. You can't be like, oh, this is where all the good stuff is. No, it's all
Right,
random.
right.
There is nowhere where the good stuff is.
But is there certain caches? Like, there'll always be something in this house?
Sometimes, like each house, like some of
Sometimes
the,
there's
sometimes
always...
there is, sometimes there isn't. It's like each house has like different points. Like once you've played enough, you're like, okay, this house will have like maybe 5 spots that could have a weapon in there, and sometimes all 5 spots will have shit in it. Sometimes maybe 1 or 2 will.
So you know the spots where the generation spots, there's just no guarantee.
There's no guarantee something's going to generate there, and the same thing for the vehicles. Because this island is fucking huge. It's bigger than Grand Theft Auto 5's island is.
Holy shit.
It's bigger. It's fucking giant. And the biggest problem that can screw you, if you don't pay attention in the beginning to find a vehicle, you can end up trying to run across this island while this blue fucking lightning is chasing you the whole time.
So you're not even fighting other people, you're just trying to...
Yeah, the very first time I played, I landed, and I didn't know shit. I didn't know anything about how anything works, so I landed in this fucking little group of like houses. I stayed away from the big cities.
I'm gonna start a campfire.
And yeah, like I walk through the houses and I find these guns and I find a backpack to carry all my shit. I'm feeling badass. I'm sitting in the house waiting. I'm like, I'm gonna fuck someone up when they come through this door and shit. And then all of a sudden this like shit passes over me and I'm like, what the fuck was that? And then my health starts going down. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm like looking at the map and I see a thing. I'm like, I'm supposed to have moved over to this area. Fuck.
Oh.
So I'm out there running through this field for like 3 fucking minutes with my health going down and I end up dying. Never seen another person, never firing a shot from my gun, nothing. I died from that shit.
Guy, 2 guns, backpack, running, screaming, butt-ass naked.
Yeah, I was in fucking my tidy whities just sprinting. But yeah, I'm fucking addicted to this game because it's just
It sounds pretty fucking awesome.
And I love, like what you said, the fact that everybody starts the same.
Do you know for sure that it's coming out for PS4? Or are you hoping?
They said that they're working on it. Right now, it started on PC, and they finished it on PC, and now they moved to Xbox.
I almost wish I had the patience to get into PC gaming, like just for shit like GTA. So, just the mods for them. I posted up the video, the mod where you could get Chucky in GTA. Yeah. That's fucking great. Like in GTA on the computer, you can literally go in and reprogram shit. You can make it however you want it, damn near. You can design cars that don't exist, people that don't exist, and it's like they literally have a hack, if you will, where you can have Chucky, Child's Play Chucky, running around stabbing hookers and whatever.
Yeah, you're playing as Chucky in Grand Theft Auto, stabbing hookers.
It's awesome.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome. So I hope it comes to PS4 because I want you guys to get to fucking check it out.
Shit.
It's fucking badass.
That sounds pretty cool.
They have 3 different modes. They have the one where it's 100 people, everyone against everyone. You have no allies, no teammates. Then they have a duo mode where it's still 100 people, but you're split into teams of 2. So 50 teams, 2 people.
And everybody on the winning team wins, kind of thing?
Yeah, so like if your partner dies, because this happened, I was playing with my boy RJ, and he died in the first 5 motherfucking seconds of a match. Like we landed, and there's these 2 people, and we started fist fights because nobody has guns yet. So we're trying to punch each other, and we couldn't hit shit. So I run in the house and I get a fucking machete. And I come out of the house with a machete, and one of the other dudes got a gun. So they're chasing RJ around the house trying to shoot him. And I'm running behind the dude with the fucking machete trying to slice him. RJ gets fucking shot and killed. I machete the dude, and then his partner runs at me, and I machete her. And now everyone's dead except for me, and I had to play the whole rest of the match by myself, and I ended up winning.
Oh, wow.
But I hid like a motherfucker. Like, I was crawling through the woods. Like, at the end part, there was like 13 people left alive in this little circle. I'm hiding in the grass behind a tree, just listening to gunfire, grenades. And the numbers are just ticking down. I'm just sitting there watching everybody kill. It's like 13.
He's a little black girl hiding in the tree.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. And it's like 9, 7, 6 left, 5 left, 4 left, 2 left. I'm like, 2, that means me and one dude. Right. So I stand up and I see the one guy. I'm like, oh shit. And I had a fucking UMP-45 and I just sprayed all over the fucking screen. So I'm like, I might win. And I somehow hit the motherfucker and kill him. And I'm like, I won.
The most frustrating thing in the world in games like that is like that GTA super advanced game. They have just shit that you can't even imagine, but you walk up to the street and you're like, fuck you. Oh. Yeah. And you go to punch the dude and you miss by like 6 feet.
Yeah.
You can't you can snipe him with a shitty handgun from 4 blocks, but inches away, you can't fucking hit him.
And that's what happens, like, the melee in this game, it's so hard, and like, we were out there boxing forever, and like, people were like jumping up trying to hit people from and it was just ridiculous.
Or the games where you're like this super badass soldier, you're fucking like, you're straight up Navy SEAL, got every gun in the world, most training in the world, and then you go running through a house and you can't figure out how to get up the stairs.
James Bond.
That is the dumbest shit
in history
ever.
Until you try and get on a ladder.
Yep.
Okay, rung, fall off.
Fall off.
Rung, fall off.
It is so fucking stupid that stairs are the most complicated thing in the world in a video game.
Yep. It's a pain in the ass.
You can be a car thief from the ghetto. You can go over, steal an F-16, figure that shit out in a half second. But it's going to take you longer to climb the ladder to get in the cockpit of the F-16.
I was like, in this game, I was trying to just climb through a window.
Right.
To get into a house. I stood in front of the window and jumped up and down 5 times. Just jumped in front of the window like this 5 times before he finally went, oh, let me get in the fucking window.
In GTA 5...
Yeah, it's fun as shit.
My nephew shows me this spot in GTA 5. There's a glitch where you can literally like climb up into this house and you can hide behind a wall and you can shoot out and do whatever you want, but nobody can get you.
In.
It's a literal glitch, but you have to hop up on a wall. I bet you it took me half an hour to learn how to hop up on that fucking wall. That shit's so frustrating. And then, like, if you're running from somebody and try to go in there and hide, it's even worse because you got the whole adrenaline pumping, so you're a little bit fucking even tighter on the controls and can't figure that shit out. It's just stupid.
Speaking of mods and stuff, I think this started out as a mod, and Call of Duty ended up saying, you know what? Let's make an actual game mode, and then remastered Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, I think, Object Mode or Prop Mode. Prop Mode, I think. Where it's like 5-on-5. And the first round, 5 of you are regular Call of Duty soldiers with your whatever guns and weapons you choose. The rest are light posts or watermelons or a box. And you scramble and you try and find a spot to where you can just stand there as a lamppost, and the human guys can't tell it's a person. They just walk by a lamppost. They have to like shoot at every inanimate object. And every so often it'll just make a if you're close in proximity to somebody hiding. So you know, okay, wait, I didn't shoot that box, and I just heard a whistle, so I'm going to shoot that box or whatever. And it just goes until all the props are killed or time runs out. And I was watching some YouTube video of the guy playing it. It looked like a blast.
It's like, how long can you fucking
Yeah,
hide?
it's like hide and seek.
Yeah. It's freaking hilarious.
It reminded me of the Metal Gear whenever you're like,
oh, yeah.
oh, box. Nothing.
You see that
And
stupid...
the guard's like looking around. Well, that box was just moving. But
it's like that video that
I'm
pops
good.
up all over YouTube, Facebook, everything, where the dude's like, always carry one of these if you're running from the cops, and he's carrying like a piece of ductwork, and he runs over, he's running from the cops, and he runs in and he puts a curved piece of ductwork to the wall and
that
hides.
looks so good.
It's fucking hilarious.
That was fun. And it looked like a fucking, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
The only thing that gives it away is there's not a damn reason in the world for there to be a tube up against that wall right there, but...
Yeah, but do you know how AC works?
Yeah.
You'd be surprised with people that don't get
Yeah.
Well, you just don't look for the... I mean, you look for the obvious. You don't look for the weird as fuck.
Right.
I mean...
Like, that's a weird as fuck ductwork tube over there.
That's why, like, people have successfully hidden in, like, under the kitchen sink and shit like that.
Yeah, because no one's gonna...
Because who's going to think that a grown-ass man
who's
crawled
under
into
the
that
kitchen
cabinet?
sink?
Yeah.
Where's the 250-pound dude we're looking for? He's in that cabinet over there.
He's in the refrigerator.
The 6.5-foot tall Samoan guy.
Yeah. It's amazing how well you can fold when prison is the other option.
Right? Yeah.
Either way, you're going to get folded.
You become a fucking gymnast all of a sudden, man.
Yeah. Fucking Spider-Man over walls and shit.
Super game of fucking Twister.
So, Brian won this weekend, right?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. Managed to pull a win out of my rabbit's hat.
Where was he fucking going on?
I know.
Pulled a win out my rabbit's ass?
I pulled it out of the rabbit. And the
I
rabbit
thought
said,
you said
thank
I pulled a win
God.
out my ass. Okay, I
You
get
can
that,
tell
but
as he started
he's
that,
like-
he's like, shit, this is not working
He's like,
how I wanted it
rabbits.
to.
Had to,
Hats.
had to make a sharp left in that statement.
Fucking
No,
missed
yeah.
the shit out of it.
Went to Yuma, first race of the year for our sanctioning body here in the state of Arizona.
That's how you fucking do it. Right out the gate.
Actually, I spent about 2 hours on the phone this afternoon to do an interview.
No shit.
Yeah, it's gonna be in our sanctioning body IMCA. They put out a newsletter every month, and stories are kind of thin early in the season like this.
On the first
'cause
race.
nobody else is racing, so they're like, let's do a feature on this guy.
Yeah, pretty much the only stories at that
It's a
point
slow
is
news day.
the guy that won or the guy that lost.
Yeah. We got one race in the country. Let's talk about it.
Is it literally the first one in the country?
No, they've been racing over in California. Actually, one track raced New Year's Day.
It's pretty much at this point, it's like you got to go west and find warmth to start racing, right?
Like most places, they won't be racing until March.
Yeah, Kansas
Some
is
in
probably pretty slow at
April.
this
Yeah,
point.
Yeah.
Pace car has
that's
a plow
That's
attached.
our one advantage that we have out here is
Mr. Plow.
we race
Or Plow
12
King.
months out of the year.
Somewhere, yeah.
You know, because my last race of last year, which was also coincidentally Yuma, which I actually coincidentally also won.
Oh, yeah?
A lot of coincidences here. You know, the
But,
rabbit
I
Yeah,
call
it
it,
was
at this
December
point, it's a
6th.
conspiracy.
That's what one of the guys that films it, because they put it on, they have an IMCA TV. It's like a racers Netflix type of thing. And the guy that runs it, his name's Barry Braun. And he sent me a message. He's like, dude, you need to quit fucking winning at the races that we broadcast because they're going to think it's fucking rigged. And I'm like, sorry. But no, it was pretty cool. I had a good night, and I actually started towards the back. I had a bad heat race, and I started. It's more fun that way, though. Like,
I was about to say, how many times have you heard that?
I was going to say,
from
it
him?
seems like you
Almost
win more from the back than you do from
every
the
story.
front.
Well, that sounds about how
Yeah.
we all win from the back.
Yep.
But that's
I
how
don't know
every
about it.
single racing story from starts. You know, I started from the back. I had a bad heat race, but
Started from
I
the
made
bottom
some
down
early
here.
moves. and my
Superior-
rabbit's
my-
hat
my-
pulled it out.
so
and
My
I
superior
got a
racing
win,
skills,
You know?
kind of
Did you,
take over.
I mean, I knew that this one was going to be broadcast, so I fought really hard.
My
and
question is, did you have a bad heat race, or did you show up late and not get to run?
no, I
it?
actually got there
Bad pill
actually
draw?
early. No, I pill draw was. I had a kind of average start for the heat race because that's the pill draw controls your heat race start.
Right.
So I started 6th out of 8 in the heat race, but I got up to 3rd in the heat race like within a lap. So I thought, yeah, this is fucking awesome. And then I fucking got caught up in a wreck in front of me, and then got hit by more people from behind, and then so I was able to keep going, but I finished in the back of our heat race. So
In the main event, is the number that they allow in the main, is that set by the track size to a certain extent, or?
most tracks will cap it at 24, and it's got to be a real small track before they start going down from there. Some canyon up by Lake Pleasant, for a while there they were only starting 20, which a lot of people started gripe because we're like, dude, this track's got plenty of room on it for 24. Because really, at that point, it's just the promoter being a Scrooge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he doesn't want to pay those extra 4 guys. But it's like Cortez is where I go, for example. You know, they would probably
Colorado?
Yeah, that would probably be one of the smaller tracks. Ventura for like over in California, there's no way. I mean, you'd be nose to tail if they started 24 cars. I mean, they just don't have the room. I mean, the track is fucking the size of this table. I mean, it's
Damn, and you
small.
just cut off part of it.
Yeah, even smaller.
What I like, not so much as circle track, but drag racing and boxing. The announcers and the interviews with the winners are always the best. Drag racing. What was your philosophy? What's your theory on how to do better? Man, I'm going to start trying to get better traction, try to get out ahead of the other guy. You know, shit. Or boxing is the same way, too. You'll listen to them and, what's going to be your strategy today? I'm going to try to not get punched as much, see if I can hit him some more.
I'm going to come out and try to slip some punches early. And,
Hit him more often than he hits.
Get some more jabs in than
And then you hear their corner guys, be between rounds, and they'll zoom in on the corner guy, and fucking Mayweather's sitting in the corner, and his corner man's like, hey, you need to start dodging more than punches and start hitting him some more. This dude's getting paid like $10 million to say,
Really?
in a boxing match, don't get hit so much and punch some more.
Yeah,
That's literally his philosophy.
simple philosophy.
Go out there, chin first.
And drag racing
And
is
see
the
what
same way, man. I
happens.
love that shit.
Just beat the fuck out of him with your face.
Yeah.
His hands are going to get
Bruise
sore.
his hands. Bruise
Yeah.
his hands.
Soften up his knuckles.
What you need to do,
Sooner or later,
you
he's
go
gonna-
out there and you bite his fucking ear off, man.
And drag racing is the same way. Man, got off the line. I got out a little faster than him, and I stayed in the lead. And it's just, that shit lasted 2.5 seconds, right? I mean, it's just so funny to me.
Got the
that-
whole shot, never saw him.
Yeah. The only worst job in announcing has got to be golf, trying to make that shit sound
Oh,
exciting,
shit.
I guess. But at least that shit is exciting. There's just not a lot to talk about, but...
No, ours is a little bit more action.
And golf, you have to be exciting quietly. That's the. This dude is in a booth somewhere like 26
And he's
miles
still
from
fucking
there.
whispering and shit.
He's about to tee off.
Like he's on the fringe.
Yeah,
fucking
like he's standing,
outside
like he's
fucking-
standing 4 feet behind the guy.
22
He just grabbed a 9-iron.
Oh my god, that could be it's all.
Motherfucker's probably not even in the same city.
Right. We got a 22-foot putt here with a slight decline to the left.
I love that
Let's
Howard
see what
Stern
he
has
does.
ruined golf.
Huh?
Howard Stern has ruined golf, and it's the coolest shit ever.
Why?
Because
How's it
now
ruined golf?
in the fucking pro golf, the coolest thing ever is like the fucking like Adam Sandler style shit. There's always somebody right as they go to hit the ball. You hear somebody in the background go "Bubba Booey," and it's huge. It's so funny. Just trying to ruin the dude's swing.
Oh my god.
And them guys with the little quiet signs are staring you down.
Yeah. Don't make me wait this harder.
Right?
There's a guy here in Pinal County named Bob Bowie.
Really?
Yes. I want to say he's an electrical contractor.
I bet he's
Really?
very buoyant. Does he like swimming?
No, he floats too much.
Yeah.
Or is
He's
he
not a diver.
Is it
He's probably a plumber because I know a whole family of Bowies that
Bowie
are
plumbing.
plumbers. I wonder if
think-
is it the dad maybe?
I think
That's funny.
Bob Bowie.
Huh. Intriguing.
Very, very intriguing.
Anyhow,
I'm gonna have to ask.
so Battlebots had snuck an extra season in there. I don't know if any of you guys saw it. You didn't.
Apparently-
You're actually a fan.
Yeah.
None of us can find anything about it.
I don't know
Yeah.
how
This secret hidden season.
I don't know how I fucking landed
Last
on
thing
it.
I
You guys
saw,
didn't.
all the BattleBots guys were still saying
We need to
season
get
3.
in touch with Ray and see what the situation. But like, it was a shocking deal. The like, Minotaur was not there. Beta wasn't there. Tombstone looked not totally different, but like he was all black now, which he wasn't before.
Bring up season 1.
This is the guy that ended up winning.
Bring up season 1
Why?
because I
Bite
think he's
Force?
describing by force. I think won season 1.
I think he's describing season 1.
So you caught like a
No,
chopped down
because
version of
because they had Ray coming back
Tombstone.
as returning champ.
Tombstone
Really?
versus Bite Force was the
The
season
final.
1 final with Bite Force winning.
But they had him they kept announcing him as fucking returning champion.
I don't know because that was the final.
Unless
match.
he won it before it was televised. Unless Tombstone's won it twice.
It wasn't BattleBots because season 1 was the first BattleBots in 15 years or whatever.
Tombstone was the dominant robot all season on BattleBots, but Bite Force proved to be its nemesis.
What year was that?
No,
15-ish.
Because according to the website,
15.
the last BattleBots series that aired was started in July of 16. That's what
That sounds about right.
that's the most recent thing on the website.
Well, fuck then. I'm okay.
But so spoiler alert,
Spoiler
Tombstone
alert!
didn't win season 1 of
Season 1 of
BattleBots.
BattleBots. Tombstone, although he was the returning champion, did not win.
They kept
But
announcing.
he did win a bunch of stuff, and he won most destructive bot.
Maybe it was some other fucking thing that they just kept because they
Could
kept
be.
announcing him as like fucking champion blah blah blah. And I'm like, fuck.
Yeah,
They
they
wouldn't
have
be saying that if it wasn't fucking season 3.
the whole
It still says, there's only
combat robotics is
Tombstone's.
a way bigger thing than just BattleBots, and he's won quite a
see, I didn't
few
even know that.
Yeah, he's one of
tournaments
the
and
different-
stuff.
Yeah,
It's
different
like
things that.
it's like Braveheart, not Braveheart,
Braveheart?
Lionheart.
Like Scottish
Bloodsport.
dudes fucking fighting English.
Freedom!
Yes, it's totally like that. You know,
You will
they'll
never
take away my blade,
take
but you won't take
my
away my
freedom!
hydraulics or something.
Bunch of racist guys in skirts slapping each other. No mention of BattleBots for 2017 or 18.
Okay, I get it.
I'm not sure what the hell you watched.
Message received.
Was
that
this
It was not season 3.
what did
Was
you
it maybe
partake
like
in
the,
prior to watching
Or
this?
maybe they were talking about, was Tombstone in the original ones from back in the early 2000s?
I don't think so.
I don't think he was in those ones.
No. I would
they
hope
did
he would
like 8
recognize
seasons
the
back
difference
then.
in that. The quality was substantially worse.
Man,
I remember Overdrive. I think
I'm
the
pretty fucking sure that
big
like,
F60 series tires with the big old broadsword. All it would do is forward, reverse, and swing the blade.
the what?
It
The
was
old, like old version?
yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen any of that.
Yeah, looks like they only have the 2 seasons, dude.
I kind of wish the
The
Megabots
2015
thing.
season and 2016 season.
Yeah, I kind of wish the Megabots thing hasn't turned out to be not so
Because
fantastic
Witch
yet.
Doctor was on there and had the little mini bot, and
Yeah, it does sound like season 1.
fuck.
The Ladybug didn't have the grinder on the inside, right?
No, it was a totally different bot, and that's the thing. Like that girl had a different bot because they actually showed that Ladybug bot, and she's like, yeah, that was one of my earlier versions, and she had a newer version that had a brain on it. It fucking this bot literally had a fucking brain that fucking it changed colors.
That doesn't sound familiar at
It
all.
changed colors as it got beat up, kind of weird.
That
Like
actually
it
does sound
bruised?
kind of familiar, but
Did you have a really cool dream?
No, I'm fucking I wish I wouldn't have fucking erased it now, but I'm certain that during the broadcast they kept talking about how Ray was the returning champion and fucking talking about how Witch Doctor got beat the season before and back and that one chomp that looked like a fucking toaster with the fucking real piece of shit. It actually came back and it was in better shape. She still got her ass kicked, but it was a better bot. And definitely the girl that had the Ladybug thing, they did a thing on her and they showed a progression of her bots throughout the years, and it was not the fucking Ladybug that she was fighting with. It was totally different.
Are you sure this wasn't New Jack City? Because it could have been New Jack City. No, I can't find anything about it, but man, maybe it's out there, dude. We just it's not. Maybe it's on the dark web or some shit.
maybe.
Who knows?
Oh, that's scary stuff.
Might have smoked something just before.
I'm telling you.
Did you smoke some Ambien?
It was four.
Smoke some
It was
Ambien.
only 4
Can you do
episodes,
that?
and each one was 2 hours long. The announcer guy was the same. What's his name? You're from
Farouk.
Yeah, Farouk. Farouk was on there. The same.
Because
two-
they
Kenny
just did the
Florio.
thing where they re-aired the first 2 seasons. Maybe they
On
did
the
them
Science
in chunks.
Channel or whatever?
Yeah, maybe they did them in chunks, and that's what he saw.
The same 2 announcer guys and the girl. They had those.
I think in the first season she dressed down compared
They
to
had
the
those
second season.
dorky crew guy from MIT doing their bot. Man,
No clue.
there was a plumber who had a yellow
I was
bot.
pulling Mario Brothers into it.
No, there was a guy that was a plumber.
He had
and
this
they-
mustache.
and there was a
with these red
scarecrow.
overalls.
Was that in season 1? He had a yellow bot. It was called the fucking. The Hornet
Yeah, there
or
was a
something
plumber
like
that did really well in the first season.
Fuck.
Because that was one of the things that I really liked about it is we had a plumber and we had an ex-security guard or
A
prison
butcher, a
guard and
baker, and a
stuff.
candlestick maker.
But the prison guard ended up being Ray.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't find anything other than that they re-aired season 1 and season 2.
That was
Man.
the Ladybug chick though.
Yeah, she had a different bot. It wasn't the Ladybug thing.
Jitterbug.
Da-dum, boom, boom.
Isn't that the big ass old people cell phone?
No.
I don't know.
Jitterbug. Oh yeah.
The one with the big ass buttons.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the I've fallen and I can't get up cell phone.
The one I need to order for my grandma.
There we go.
I need to get one for me. Just seems like it'd be easier to text and drive with those big ass
Right,
buttons.
them big ass buttons.
Except for it'd be all up.
Right?
You not see anything where
Well, the
you're going.
screen's
Yeah,
probably
you're not
like
doing that one-handed, bro. You're not.
the screen's probably like this.
It's like fucking holding a keyboard up there. You're like,
Yeah.
you need 2 hands.
Is it just me,
Remember-
or was it a lot easier to text and do anything else when it was
T9?
just the T9
The
shit?
little fucking
no
razor
screen?
phones that
Yeah.
were like fucking tiny.
Remember when they first started with the things when it was an actual fucking keyboard on your phone?
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Like,
But with the first pager, remember they had that flip up
flip it
pager
up
that you
and
could
have
text
an
on?
actual fucking keyboard on there. I remember that shit.
That was pimp status.
A legit keyboard.
Those big old fucking flip pagers. I think you had to pay like $12 a fucking text or something. But
Something like that.
So you could send boobs to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Uh,
Turn it upside down. Oh, boobs!
Yes.
Yes!
90095.
Because every fucking page was 911. Like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, you can't always be
Right? Yeah. You're wearing it out.
Like,
Stop.
yeah, you can't always be fucking 911 every time you fucking page me, dude. Come on.
And before they got mainstream, if you had a pager, you must be a drug dealer.
Or a doctor.
Oh,
One or
yeah.
the other. You were either a doctor or a drug dealer.
dealer.
You look at a motherfucker, you're like, you ain't no doctor.
Even though that shit was $6 a month, you had to be a drug dealer to
Yeah.
have one.
Like, you ain't no doctor, bro. What you slinging?
Because I'm JJ, the king of beepers.
AJ.
That's probably the third time that shit's come up on this show.
Yeah.
He used to scream that shit into the fucking radio.
I wonder if he's the king of cell phones now and, like, unemployment.
He's bankrupt.
Probably, yeah. Probably
He blew every dime he ever had. These things will never go
I blew
away.
my beeper money.
Those
Beeper
beeper wad.
fortune.
Oh, well. So,
Any last?
Unless he's bought Bitcoin or something like that.
Right? Invested in
That's
Bitcoin early?
bank right there.
so
Is
I
that
know,
fucking shit legit or what?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
It's
is it
getting
still
big.
going?
It's
Mhm.
fucking real, man.
It's going, like, every day it goes up.
Yeah, I remember when like that shit was like fucking single digits and shit for a single Bitcoin. Now
Yeah.
motherfuckers is worth hundreds of dollars per
Right.
Bitcoin. I was like,
For something that doesn't really
the fuck
exist.
doesn't really exist.
And
It's
nobody
insane.
knows who invented it. The guy that invented it didn't.
Well, they know
wanted to be
who he
anonymous.
they know who, they just don't know who he is. They know they know the one guy in his fucking computer handle, whatever. They just don't know his true identity.
who he is in the real world.
Right.
Yeah,
That-
that shit's crazy. That's a completely online
I
currency that's
remember
just
hearing
getting more and more
about,
expensive.
I don't know, it was maybe 5-6 years ago, reading an article that like some government agency, DEA or something like that, when they caught this drug dealer or something along the lines of like, yeah, they had like $10 million worth, 10 million Bitcoin.
That was worth like
And they
$100 million or something.
Well, no, they auctioned it off. Like, nobody knew what Bitcoin was, so, like, this auction, they fucking, like they do with any public auction, they fucking, set it up to sell this guy's fucking Bitcoin, and somebody bought, like, $10 million worth of Bitcoin for, like, a couple $1,000.
Oh, damn.
Crazy, right there.
Yeah, 10 million Bitcoin for a couple $1,000.
Which is probably worth even more than that now.
Fuck.
the way
And
this shit
well,
goes
they
up.
just had
fucking billion now.
a year and a half, 2 years ago. There
But
was
is
a
that
big
legit, though?
old
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a big old
like
fucking
you can
heist.
take a printout that says, like, like a slot machine printout or something. Like, how would you fucking, like, how would you cash in Bitcoin?
You
There's-
just so
Right,
first
right,
off,
something with it.
Exchanges you can
yeah.
go to.
So firstly, there's a bunch of businesses that take it now.
Yep.
Because the percentage, like, it's way better. Like, I don't remember the exact percentage breakdown, but for instance, like, if you do a credit card transaction at a store, they take like 2% or something like that. It's a fairly high amount. Bitcoin takes like 1/100%. It costs nothing to accept Bitcoin into your business, and then you literally just go in there. It's like using PayPal. You go in there and say, "Okay, turn this into money and send it to my bank account," and
Yeah,
it just
they have
happens.
exchange sites you go to where you where they take X amount of Bitcoin and then give you whatever the cash value is transferred into your PayPal or bank account. Yeah, it's crazy that it's like that a virtual currency can like work like that.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is the fact that it's untraceable. Like a lot of people that do that are like doing like the online like blackmail type things, like we have so and so dirt on you. If you don't want to release, send us 3 Bitcoins by such and such date, blah blah blah, because you can't trace it.
Well,
Right.
I thought, what about the guy that was getting them from Peter Piper Pizza?
What?
I didn't
Or
hear about that.
Chuck E. Cheese?
Those are arcade coins. you
There was some
you can play
guy
skee ball with those.
selling fucking
Oh,
Chuck
and
E.
trying to
Cheese
say those were
coins.
Bitcoin.
He was successful at it. This guy made fucking tens of thousands of dollars
Well,
doing
but
this.
people are idiots and they don't realize that Bitcoin's not an actual fucking coin. So I could see someone fucking pulling that off.
Right.
Like, bro,
Bro,
bro.
yo.
I got
I
Bitcoin.
got these Bitcoins.
So that's the
Right here.
that's
Give me
what the
10
guy
bucks for that.
invented it for, was black market shit.
That's probably what. Yeah.
Because it's so untraceable.
Yeah, it's untraceable, which is what's crazy about it. Like,
And it's really hard to seize it and stuff. But the other problem with being untraceable and
Yeah, you
not
can't
having
seize
like
it because it's
FDIC, you can seize it if you
You
can
can
get a
hear
hold
about
of it.
Here's it. but I don't
Here's
see
it, but I don't
Like,
see
there's no
it.
FDIC protection or anything either. So was it year
It's
and a
not
half
backed or
ago,
anything.
some fucking hacker that they've never been able to find got into a bunch of Bitcoin servers and stole, I think it was, I mean, well into the hundreds of millions of dollars out of there, and nobody could do a goddamn thing about it. And the other problem is like if somebody robs your bank, it doesn't affect
it's not
you.
Insured. Yeah.
It's your money is just numbers in a computer. Your money's not gone. The bank's fucked. The insurance company's fucked. Your money's fine. If somebody steals your Bitcoin, there ain't a damn thing you can do about it.
You can't get that back.
There's no law enforcement agency that governs it. I mean, even if you go call the cops and say, "Hey, my Bitcoin was stolen," they're going to be like, they're probably going to say, "What is
What
Bitcoin?"
the fuck's a Bitcoin?
But there's nothing anybody can do about it because there's no insurance, there's no tracing, there's no government organization that watches over it.
Risky.
Yeah, it's super risky, but it's also one of the best investments you can make, in theory, as long as nobody steals it, or the guy fucking decides to tomorrow pull the plug on it and make the shit fall on its face.
I was
I
gonna
was going
say,
to say,
like,
it seems
is
like
there-
it would be easy for some chain of events to say, you know what, we're not taking Bitcoin anymore. That's stupid, and everybody cash out at the same time or whatever, and like except for
But-
the 5 people that didn't would be like, all right, I've got worthless Bitcoin now
But
because
see,
I waited too long to cash
the
out.
way it was supposedly, in theory, the way it was invented is it wasn't really ever meant for businesses to accept it and
Right.
shit. It was just a savings account. It was like buying gold and putting the gold under your fucking mattress. That's the idea behind it. It's money that the banks can't get a hold of, the government can't get a hold of, they can't tax it, the IRS can't come in and say, "Oh, you've made too much, I'm taking your Bitcoin," just because there's no way to do it. So that was
Why?
kind of because there's just no way for them to get a hold of it.
Yeah, but
It's all anonymous. Like if you buy Bitcoin, the way I understand it is you basically make like a computer handle. You know, you're like Aimless Adventure 248 is the guy that owns that Bitcoin. You just happen to be the only motherfucker that has the password for it. It's not under Brian Schultz's fucking company.
There's nowhere where Aimless Adventure 248 is listed as you for the government
Right.
to be like, "Oh, that's your fucking Bitcoin account. That's your Bitcoin money." There's no
Right.
way
But-
for them to know.
And a lot of times, too, there's an actual physical coin that's basically like a RFID tag. So to get into it, like, for instance, if you walk into a store that accepts it, you have to walk in, open it up like a PayPal app, show it on there, and then fucking click the fucking coin to the machine as the unlocker, basically, to show that it's really yours. It's a 2-step system. And it's
So
pretty,
you do get a physical coin.
You can. It's technically just a code. It can be anything. It's like an RFID code thing. It could be in anything. It's like it's like one of those electric IDs that opens a door kind of thing, basically. They just happen to usually put it in a coin because of the name. But it can be in anything. It could be in your phone or whatever. But in theory, it's pretty hard to get into.
And how would you find a reputable Bitcoin seller? Because I mean, like,
Just research. There's 2 or 3 that are reputable,
Really?
that are the top ones. I mean, just go. I mean, CNN and shit announces them. Who's the good ones to
Okay.
go to?
You
whatever,
can't
but-
fucking go buy them down on Elm Street or something.
I mean,
You can,
that's what
but
I'm
you
saying.
shouldn't.
You can. You'd be like, okay, I want $1,000 Bitcoin. All right, what's password and account? Okay, and go fuck yourself. I got your money.
I don't
you
even
know,
know.
because
Right.
there's absolutely nothing you could do about it.
$1,000 would get you a single Bitcoin right now.
Yeah, it's.
Right.
I think the value of Bitcoin is over.
I don't remember what it is, but it's
But
quite a bit.
what's the point if, like, when you go to buy something, okay, that'll be 0.3 Bitcoins.
It is that way.
I know it's just gonna.
It's just like anything else. I mean, and once you get used to it, it doesn't matter. But there's not that many businesses in the world that take it. Some of the bigger cities, like you can go down into Manhattan, and there's going to be several places that take it, but there's going to be several out of thousands in Manhattan. Not a bunch. There's several, but a bunch of like travel sites and shit take it. A bunch of big companies take it now. I think like Travelocity or one of them accepts it. Some of the major companies are
I
starting
mean, for
to take it.
for a company, think about it though. I mean, someone pays you in Bitcoin. It's not like just getting $1. You get a Bitcoin the next day. It's worth more than what it was the day before when you got
Right.
it.
If I pay you $1, it's $1.
Yeah,
That's as good as
tomorrow
it's ever
it's
going to
still
get.
$1.
I mean, the economy might change. That dollar might buy you a few more things.
It's almost
tomorrow
like
than it
a
does.
it's
couple
almost
less
like using
things.
stocks as currency.
Kind of,
It's the better example is
Or
using gold.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
like,
it's
exactly.
basically like I pay you in gold, and you don't spend that gold tomorrow. 3 days from now, that gold might be worth substantially more than it
Yeah.
was when I took it in as paper.
Yeah, you could then turn around and sell that gold for a couple $100 more than what you sold it.
Does
to
anybody
for,
see when or how the bubble's going to burst?
It can.
There
It may
was
never
just-
burst. It
there
may
was
become the
just
way
a
of the
huge
future, but it
drop
can.
Not too long ago.
Yeah.
There was like a huge crash in Bitcoin not too long ago where
But-
it lost like 23% of its value.
But that 23% of its value, if you'd been in there very long, didn't hurt you that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And it was up way above that within 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah. It recovered pretty quick. But right then would have been the time to buy.
Right.
Yeah.
You buy when that shit lost 23% of its value, that's when you buy it, and then a few weeks later when it's back up above that, boom, you just made a shit ton of money. Like
There
I said,
is a
it's
slight
like
chance,
stocks
though, that
sold.
you have $10,000 worth of it and wake up tomorrow and have nothing.
Because it got stolen or what?
Just
Or
'cause
because the value fell out of its ass. There's
People
just,
eventually were like, "Why are we playing with this fake online
but
money?"
a lot of the experts believe that money could go away and that could be the way of the future. And if you happen to buy into it right now, and 20 years from now it's the way of the future, you're probably going to be Bill Gates rich.
I mean, if you look at it now, how much of our money is electronically? I mean,
All
how
of
much
it.
of this shit do you pay for with your fucking debit cards and credit? That's all electronic.
all of it. The only
I
cash
mean-
I have in my pocket is
Yeah,
what
but you
Brian
still
gave
want
me.
that security of, you know,
Of what?
At the end of the
Your
day,
money that's in the bank is just, like you said, a number on a computer screen.
Well,
It-
but
it's
yeah,
not
but like,
real.
it can't, you know, if somebody robs the bank,
That's
they're
because
robbing
they're
the bank.
insured.
They're not robbing
That's because
me.
that's because the money.
Yeah.
That's because the bank is
all the
insured.
money
It's
that
not-
Your
you
money
you
is
have
still
put into the
electronic.
bank,
It's the
they've
same thing as
reinvested in
Bitcoin.
something
It's
else.
not as likely, but we could still wake up tomorrow and have our money be absolutely worthless.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
It's
you know,
pretty fucking slim
the
chance.
stock markets crash and shit, and the economy
But it wouldn't be
goes
the
to crap.
first time.
Yeah, your money isn't worth what it was yesterday. I mean,
Ask
that
the
can still
motherfuckers
happen.
in 1921.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they woke up one day and their money was fucking worthless. It could happen. It's not very likely anymore, but it's
Yeah.
not unthinkable.
So basically, what we're saying here is, if you have money, spin the shit out of it. Get something tangible that you can have and enjoy.
Savings
Damn it.
accounts are for pussies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gold is still good to buy,
yeah.
unless the value drops out of it. But that's pretty unlikely.
Yeah, gold, because, I mean, they're not making any
fucking
more of it.
Bitcoin though, crazy.
Yeah.
Couldn't come up with a better name, like what was that one on
Like
Baywatch? where they
super
fucking-
cool, fancy
doubloons,
Doubloons, gold doubloons.
doubloons, doubloons.
I would have named it like Danny's Badass Internet Money.
Yeah, yeah.
Fucking
Man, give me some of
Skrilla.
that.
So-
give me some of that
Skrilla,
Danny
give me
money.
some of that Skrilla.
Every time somebody goes to the store, yeah, do you guys accept Danny's Badass Internet Money?
Well, yes, we do.
Did you hear about Danny's badass internet money going up?
Damn, Danny's badass internet money took a tank last night.
Oh man, Danny's badass internet money.
It's in the
just
toilet.
fucking bought my kids college.
And then all of a
funds.
sudden it falls out the bottom, and I'm the most hated person on earth.
Yeah.
fuck
Fucking
Danny.
Again.
Danny and his badass internet money.
All right.
Shit.
So, a couple weeks,
Sure.
in theory,
Yes.
Yeah, in theory.
What?
we'll come back and
Come
do
back.
this more.
We got this one done. Starting the year off strong.
A little bit late, but it's strong now.
And
That's
we'll
all.
do it again sometime in the next 2 to 11 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make a pact.
11 teen.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Catch
See
you
ya.
later.